Greetings, I am Lies.
And I am Scandal.
And let's play a game together.
Go to load.
Load. Thank you. Good thing I said no. Alright, so this is load. I think this is the closest we have. We're going to have to skip through him, then skip through Baton.
Yeah, that's fine.
I say, sorry, wait to take us just a second. So, yes, we would like to load.
We have done.
And we have done. Alright, so we have to apologize and get going. So since this is already in our other stream, we're just going to go to skip, and we're going to get over to Baton, and then we're going to have to, again, create, an AU, where Vil has different priorities one more time. You can't turn off skip.
Okay, skip is off.
It's off. Okay. And so we're going to have to turn down Breton just like we turned down Yeastel last time.
Mm-hmm.
All right. What have we got here?
Just
still Pokemon. Okay. All right. So this time we're gonna apologize and get going, and we are going to our beekeeper.
All right. Apologize and get going.
It's too bad, but I don't want to risk delaying anyone's delivery. I feel a little bad, but I think it would be best to turn him down. I don't want to risk being late on any deliveries. Sorry, Breton. My schedule is a little tight today, so now's not the best time. Maybe I can meet you after my route's over? Breton's ears are usually perked up, but they tilt down at that. His tail also drooping to peek out between his legs. It's obvious he's still trying to sound upbeat.
No, it's okay. Don't worry about it.
He tries so hard going, I'm not disappointed.
Anymore?
You know, after, it's fine. I do worry about it. Are you sure? I'd be happy to come back here after I'm done with my route. I just don't want to keep anyone waiting. Breton considers that for a moment before shaking his head. His tail resumed its gentle wagging. I think he's looking for someone that's full-on invested. Mm-hmm. Like this kind of turn down, he's now going, no, if you're not excited about it enough to skip work, then I think I'll ask someone else kind of thing, probably.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, kind of like, so we did actually go look at some of the other endings. We did actually try, so if you guys recall from the previous stream, you can actually say no to Yeastel.
Oh, okay, so if you do Yeastel's route and you say, no, I don't feel comfortable bonding with you, there's still a whole ending there.
Yes.
That isn't like particularly like hopeless or shamey or anything. It does leave some like level of question or doubt in the MC's mind of going, was this the right choice? Because again, it's one of those big choices where you're never really sure in your life.
Right.
But not like heavy regret or judgment or anything.
Mm-hmm.
And it was kind of cool. I kind of expected if you turn him down that like nothing would happen. They'd just be like, oh, and then the game is over. But it actually goes on to the day after the eclipse and even further into the future, and it was interesting.
Yeah, it's actually pretty cool.
Yeah, it's fine. On second thought, I guess I'm not sure if I'm supposed to be showing you anyway. So I'll get back to you if I get cleared for it.
That'd be great. Thanks for the invitation, though, Breton. It's a small lie. It's a small lie.
Teeniest lie. No problem.
He reaches out a massive paw and gives me a gentle pat on the shoulder.
You be careful on your route now, alright?
Will do. The slick of damp ground underfoot gives way to firm rock bed as we near the edge of the park. Oh, yeah, here. I'd still been holding Breton's salt packet, and I hold it out for him to take.
Right, thanks. Good luck on the rest of your route.
Thanks. I'll see you later. I'm so excited. I don't know if I'm going to be able to eat for a whole day and a half. I tighten the bundle over my shoulder to make sure it's firmly in place, then head off at a steady jog. Halfway down the block, I turn to glance over my shoulder and catch sight of Breton's fluffy tail slipping back into the foliage of the park. Him, tail, wag. I hope he does take someone else with him, because that would be super helpful.
Yeah.
And I imagine, given as excited as he is and the fact that he's social, that he will.
Yeah.
I can't help wondering what it was that Breton wanted to show me. Part of me feels like I may have missed something big. But for now, I have to focus on my job. My next delivery is a good few blocks away, so I turn the corner and ramp up into a steady gallop. I also sort of like the message of this game in reference to the experience of the eclipse, of going like, there are many big options at any given one time, and you're always going to miss something if you choose something else, but that doesn't mean it's bad. Missing things or committing yourself to something isn't bad, it just is different, you know? I think that's neat. Here you go.
The doc today too, huh?
Yes, sir. Things have been a little hectic today.
On behalf, huh? Well, I won't keep you. Be careful now.
Thanks. have a nice day. And now we actually get to pay off on the fact that we packed our wallet this morning for honey.
I know.
Because in the other 2 routes, you don't even get to interact with it at all.
Dang.
All right. I'm starting to get a little out of breath. I usually manage to do my entire route at a steady pace, but today's been a day of ups and downs. But at least I've managed to mostly catch up with my usual schedule, even if I can feel my legs starting to ache a little. I slow from a sprint to a jog, so I can go down my list of notes. I've finished most of my route now, with only a few more blocks to run, which is good. A quick glance up at the sky confirms that the suns are starting to set already. The sky is tinging their usual musty green. It's starting to get late, which means I'm cutting it a little close, but not as close as on the other 2 days.
Yeah.
The palpable tension in the air has been rising all day too. There are more people hanging around the streets than usual, some rowdy and causing trouble, others pressed together in quiet intimacy. I turn the corner to take a shortcut down a street and find my foot splashing into a puddle of red. The metallic stench that lingers in the air is unmistakable, and it's cut through with a signature sting of salt. No doubt, the remnants of a punishment salt bath. On the other hand, the fact that we now know it rains blood when it rains, and like, does that make everyone hungry?
Oh dear.
Because
it's warm and
yes.
Aye.
Or multiple salt baths, possibly. The metal tubs used for salt baths tend to leave behind dark rings of moisture on the ground. There are 2-3 circles overlapping each other. I can't tell if it's the result of one tub being jostled around, or multiple tubs used in quick succession. I move quickly past this sight, both because I can't afford to loiter, but also because the combined smell of blood and salt is making me hungry. Vil just a hungry boy. Like, that is it. Like, they hungry.
They hungers.
Honks. I haven't had the chance to take a break or eat anything today. I risk a brief glance back as I head down the street. I've left behind a trail of dark footprints, radiating out from the pool of blood, but fading with each step until they vanish. The puddle of blood is still there. It will seep into the ground eventually, leaving a dark stain for a while. Kind of like the eclipse, huh? A big happening that will leave an impression for quite a while. I'm not a very poetic person. I feel a little smug for thinking of a comparison like that, but I can't spare too much time of self-congratulatory nonsense. I drag my thoughts away from that drying puddle of blood and look back towards the street.
Have a nice day, Bill.
Lobo is amazing.
Yeah.
I'm just like, you're basically made of caramel and tentacles.
I know.
Which is just...
I am both a candy and also something you'd probably get in Japan.
I am a full-on snack. Salted caramel tentacles.
Ooh. Honestly, I really want squid. Fuck.
Not dipped in caramel, though.
It could be good, though.
I've managed to stay ahead of schedule somehow, though not by a huge margin. I should be able to finish my route on time. I love how ahead of schedule is on time for Vil. Like, finishing early is on time. They are literally that person of arriving early is on time is late.
Right.
And I make the mistake of breathing a quiet sigh of relief to myself as I dash past a block of closed storefronts. Closed for the eclipse.
Alright, well here's a question. I'm pretty sure we've read most of this.
We're almost there, and not everyone's seen this bit because we jumped through it before.
Oh, that's true.
So I think we're okay.
Okay.
I say, obviously if someone binges all of these in an order, this might be a little bit repetitive, but they can always just use the skip ahead.
Oh no.
Oh no.
People don't have the fast forward button. Okay, I was just kind of like, well, I mean, we've read this multiple times.
It's true. And round a corner quickly enough that my claws skid on the ground. It's that line every time.
Mm-hmm.
Claws skid on the ground is the one where the director does the, cut, and you go to a new story.
Right.
I almost slam right into the bustling crowd that's loitering around, breathing in huge lungfuls of sweet, honey-scented air. What's going on? It's usually never this crowded. Bees!
Dragonishi!
Okay. We have to show you these bees. They're gigantic
Dragonishi bees.
and adorable. Look at the bees.
These are pet bees.
They
These
are.
are basically like performance bees. They are animals that people keep to supply them with honey.
Which isn't a performance
Well, that's
bee.
true.
They're a functioning pet.
They are.
In the way that you get an experienced bees.
They're
of
huge.
Them. They produce honey.
Yes!
I say they produce honey the way like a goat produces milk.
Yes.
Like that is what we're getting from them. You just can have one of them as a subsistence animal.
They're so good.
They're so cute.
Bees.
And they're friendly and like they understand like pets and snuggles and stuff.
They
Anyway,
love people. And they drool when they get excited. It's very cute.
Very cute.
It's very cute. Okay.
Sorry, excuse me. Passing through. Sorry, I have to get through here.
I know! They're so Lord soft.
They're adorable.
They're
We're just like the cuddly bees in this game are life.
Yeah, they're like huge. I would say that they seem to be either anywhere from like a small sized dog to like a medium sized dog. They are bigos.
They are. It's so good. I just want to cuddle them.
They're so
and
good.
they seem cuddly, which is great. We love them too. I'm so glad you like them. I was like, Draken, you will love these bees.
I know.
I feel it in my soul.
Yeah. They're so good.
Sorry, I have to get through here. I gingerly squeeze past a crowd of people. It turns out these people have formed a line that trails out from Nyargh's bee store. But the line has grown tangled and messy as it trails out into the streets. Getting past them is a struggle, and more than a few people shoot me dirty looks that I have to pacify by shifting my bundle on my shoulder and clarifying that I'm just here to make a delivery. Most grumble by grudgingly letting me through. But grudgingly let me through, thank you. A cluster of people blocks my path near the entrance, and I wait for a few people to finish their business and exit so I can slip in as the next customers enter. Yes. I check over my bundle while waiting, keep peeking through the folds of fabric to check how many more deliveries I have to make. Although I lose count when I'm distracted by a conversation going on nearby. Here's the conspiracy that's relevant to this route, we guess.
Have you heard the rumors about the guy running the store, right? You've heard them, yes?
I haven't. What do they say about him?
They say this guy sucks energy out of other people.
I roll my eyes while my head's ducked. I haven't heard these rumors myself, but it sounds silly. I've never heard of anyone eating anything other than water and salt with additives, much less sucking the energy out of other people and the sweet leaves they can get wrapped in. No way! That's so creepy.
Right, but it makes sense, doesn't it? With how gruff this guy usually is.
Yeah, he always feels kind of off, you know?
Maybe that's why he has a store, you know, to lure in victims.
Suspicious of the upper class.
or just suspicious of, like, truly, I guess the Eldritch Horror monster is a little bit too far for most people. Like,
I
think
it's more about, the way he looks than it is what he does, honestly.
Yeah.
The two of them laugh raucously. I just tighten my bundle across my shoulders and ignore whatever else they're saying. It's all nonsense. Nyargh shouldn't have to put up with this stuff. He's a good guy. Hopefully these idiots won't actually say this stuff to his face.
Yes.
Fortunately, a small cluster of excited customers exit the store the next moment, and I take the chance to slip inside, murmuring that I'm just here to make a delivery and I'll be out soon. Inside the store, I manage to weave my way past the crowds of people looking at bees and find Nyargh near the back of the store, where he mans the counter alone.
Alone?
He is also, completely contained, interestingly enough. All right, meet Nyargh, everybody.
Yay!
All of his tentacles are hard at work, managing 6 different tasks at once, and his teeth are bared as he breathes in deep, rasping puffs. He must be stressed.
Oh.
Also, I love Nyargh's different expressions. He's just amazingly expressive.
Yes, he's got so many mouths, they all express.
They all do his combined expressions, and they're great. Hey, Nyargh. Hello, Bill. He doesn't even turn my way. Not that I can blame him. He's busy dealing with a customer on one side, packing up a bottle of honey with one set of tentacles, and soothing an agitated bee with 2 others. The smell of honey in the air is almost dizzying, stirred up by the constant movement of people in the store, and I can't help but take in a deep breath before busying myself undoing my bundle. Busy day today, huh?
Sure is.
His tentacles swiftly wrap a bottle of honey in fabric, then tie a piece of twine in a bow to secure it. I love that plastic does not exist in this world. They just everything is cloth, or, metal or rock or flesh.
Yes.
Let's see. His customer thanks him profusely before leaving with their purchase in hand, babbling excitedly to their friend about how tonight will be a special treat.
Seeing everyone happy about their purchases makes it worth it,
though. I just love how he's smiling here. That is the Nyargh smile, and the one on top with the little smile. It's just cute. His voice is as gruff as ever, but the corners of his lips...
He does not. As far as we can tell, he is not an eyed monster.
He is uneyed. He does all his things by other senses.
Yes.
Yes. And many, many varieties of teeth.
Yes.
But the corners of his lips quirk just a fraction. He really does seem happy when his customers are happy. Seems like it. I hurry to pull a package of salt from my bundle, double-checking my notes to make sure I have the right packet for him, then lay it on the counter. I'd hand it to him, but all of his tentacles are occupied, packaging 2 different orders at the same time, and holding up the standing, him bracing himself on something so that, he can also stand while he does work.
Right.
I'll leave this here for you, all right? With how busy his store is, it would probably be best if I don't take up too much of Nyargh's time. I give a little nod and turn to leave when the touch of a tentacle against my shoulder stops me.
Vil?
He sounds serious. He's always sounds a little serious, of course, but this feels different. Yes? There's a pause. Nyargh's tentacles never stop moving, neatly processing and wrapping orders for customers standing on the other side of the counter. But the tentacle resting against my shoulder only squeezes slightly. He addresses a customer first, wishing them a nice day, as he hands them their package before turning slightly towards me.
If you could spare the time, would you mind helping me out a little?
Unless he's like tough. Maybe, with that much mouth, you could echolocate pretty hard, perhaps. On the other hand,
doesn't echolocate.
I know, it was supposed to be a joke.
I'm like, oh my god, we got into the Ember Island players immediately, my friend. Just
The thing is, I haven't seen the series, so that's the meme I've seen most. I just scream at things and I can see them, which I think is hilarious. I imagine with that much contact to the ground, the way he presumably uses his tentacles, it's possible that he could feel more things.
Yeah.
On the other hand, not being a bender, who knows?
Yeah.
I'm a little surprised. Not about the request itself. He may just also have other senses.
Can you imagine all those mouths
Screaming. There, now I've got a great look at the room. Everything just howls suddenly.
fucking ends me.
My friend's gonna die. All the mouths. Hold on, technical difficulties.
Fine. Oh god,
Right.
it's so good. I love it. My god. All right.
I've seen half the first season now, or the whole first season.
I think. Well, I mean, you stopped kind of watching some of it because it was just me and one of your young relatives hanging out watching most of it.
It's true.
So.
Okay. Alright. I'm a little surprised. Not about the request itself. Any reasonable person would ask for help managing a store this busy. But because I've never seen Nyargh ask anyone for help before. It is the eclipse. I will try something new. Pardon me, I have a mild cold right now.
We both actually got sick over this
It's
past
not the COVID.
week or two, so.
I can't help feeling a little flattered that he'd ask. That said, I need to think this over for a moment. Reaching back, I test the weight of my bundle with my hands, trying to gauge how much time I would need to deliver all of these before the end of the day. There aren't too many, and I should be able to get them all in time, as long as I rush a little bit. But they're also not terribly close together, and I know my pace slows as I grow tired near the end of the day. I don't have a lot of time to spare. On the other hand, this feels like something important. Even if it's only a small favor that Nyargh asked of me, the fact that it's coming from someone so quiet and self-sufficient lends the simple request extra weight. We've always seemed really sensitive to him. We should do a save right here, though, so that we're ready for next time. I was going to say, but even at the very beginning, I was like, Protag is sensitive to him. And it's been very cute. In the back of my head, I've been like, I think that Vil actually likes him.
I think so too.
Because they've seemed, interestingly affectionate towards him compared to other people. What should I do? Help Nyargh out for a bit. We're gonna do it. We're gonna help Nyargh.
Time to help Nyargh.
Nyargh. I think it would be best if I spared a little time to help Nyargh out. We also want to find out what happens if you say no to Nyargh, just like we did in Who Killed My Father Academy, and see if there is also story there.
Right.
Pride, in part, makes the decision for me. If I stay, my schedule will certainly be tight, but I know that it's not beyond my abilities. I know my delivery pace, and I'm well aware of what I'm capable of. That's so good, but it also makes it so much harder for Breton's route of going, and then I don't know what I'm capable of, and have to learn all over again. If I use the excuse of a tight schedule to say no to Nyargh here, I know I'd feel a little embarrassed about it later. After all, if Nyargh is asking me to help him at this very important moment, I should do what I can to help him, especially if I know it's within my capabilities. I keep running into it with the author as the further we get. Once in a while they just use the same words over and over again.
Yeah.
And like it's just a mark of an experience. And it doesn't really ruin it for me at all, but it's something to notice. So they sound like a newer writer, even as they do a lot of really pretty stuff in here.
Yes, and I appreciate that. But so, yeah, definitely for sure. I think with Breton's, what was that? Like, my face.
Yes.
And I was just like, so much face.
It's a lot of face. And also like grab sometimes.
Yeah,
It's just all in the same sentence. So synonyms, I like synonyms instead of the same thing in the same sentence. I make the mistake of taking a deep breath. The dizzying scent of honey makes my head spin, and I'm frozen for a moment before I can gather my thoughts. I shake my head, take a shallower breath, then nod firmly. All right, I could stay for a bit. If Nyargh had eyes, I think he'd be blinking at me. The anime double blink. Boop.
I love the fact that Dragon Sheet, they knew that you would ask.
Uh-huh.
Has no eyes.
You are, yes, the author understood.
Yes.
As is, his own movements paused for a second. His tentacles caught halfway through their actions before abruptly resuming, as if Nyargh wants to hide his surprise and hesitation. I think he asked us like a little boldly, and then is like, oh shit, it worked. I didn't plan if it worked.
Oh dang.
That thing of I didn't plan that far ahead.
Nope.
Are you sure? Of course. I like in this game how everyone double checks for consent. Period.
Yes.
Bar none. If anyone asks anything of you and you say yes, they double check to make sure you are sure. And that's just a really neat inclusion. I like it. You might have to coach me on what to do, but I'm happy to help with whatever I can. I smile as I take off my bundle and stow it off to the side, beneath the counter, where it hopefully won't get trampled. Then I pull back the roomy folds of my cloak and free my hands. It's warm in here. What? Oh my god. Oh god! Every single one of them, a little anime mouth with no teeth. Alright, Nyargh with like 7 little anime mouths.
If I had editing software that was actually any good for a computer, or even the ability to do so, I would do that. I would just
I was gonna say we obviously couldn't do it here in the stream.
No,
I would say which some people
so
can.
damn.
That would be amazing. But I'm thinking now. I'm thinking about it for Tumblr. Because that'd be, you should come join us for, a meeting in the flesh. It's a trip. Nyargh. Pa!
If my men would ask for my consent, I don't want them. Yes.
Fair. Reasonable.
Honestly, yes. True. And if you ever change your mind, that is also completely acceptable. You can say yes, and then you can take away that consent.
Yes. Especially like if you're just not in that space anymore, or if it's not like you hoped it would be or thought it would be. Like one of those things. And people going, okay, no problem. Do something else. You know?
Absolutely.
Let's see. And won't get trampled. It's warm in here. I won't need to be so covered up. And I don't want anything to hinder my movements. Or, to get like my cloak in honey.
Right.
Nyargh looks like he needs all the help he can get, so I'd like to be as useful as possible. What should I do? One of you know what? A character asking what should I do when they're not talking to us makes me so happy. They're actually just talking to another character.
I know.
That's so annoying in Miner's Girlfriend. What should I do?
God, I hate it. We finally fucking finished it.
Oh my god. It's not posted yet, but we finally freaking finished it.
Oh.
It's so bad because he's just thinking about her. I'm just thinking about her. I can't stop thinking about her. It's so bad.
That's so...
One of Nyargh's mouths licks its lips, and I hear the sounds.
Yay! Thank you, Dragon Issue. Like, oh my god.
Oh my god, it was so much work. Alright. And I hear the sound of several throats clearing. And can you start by packaging up those bottles? A tentacle gestures to a shelf stacked with bottles of honey. A pile of pre-cut fabric pieces and a big roll of twine occupies a nearby table. That's because he's very organized. He runs his own business. He does a good job. He very organized. He very tidy.
I also appreciate, just for me, I love the character here of different expressions of going, one mouth specifically licks its lips. and all the other mouths clear their throats collectively. But it's like, imagine the thousands of different, like, subtle sort of, like,
Expressions
basically
this person could have. And one of the things that I actually have really, really liked about this author is, or you know, this, I'm not sure if it's an author or if it's
I think
a team.
it's a team. I think
Anyway,
there's 2 people.
doing this game, is that they're sensitive to the reality of the characters. Like, there's a lot of times where people have, like, inhuman characters, and it doesn't feel like they actually take into account their experience or their bodiedness when they're describing things about them. And that's just this is it's very aware, and I like it. It feels more like they took time to understand them as a person.
It makes them a little bit more fleshy. Like, because it's one thing that I've been fairly critical of, actually, as I've gotten older, where I've had basically, like, characters, for example, even if all they have is just, like, angel wings, basically, or they have bat wings or something, you realize how often people write characters like that statically. Like, and you're going, when you look at birds or other animals, they shuffle their little hands and their arms around a lot.
Their little
They're
wings constantly. And the
they're
thing
like,
is,
I
like,
move.
if you just have backpack wings, it's just so
boring.
It feels very unnatural to me.
Yeah.
In the same way that we've talked about the hangman, just, you know, sort of plopping his arms on the ground and going, really? Alright, anyway, I flash Nyargh a grin, feeling the raw skin on my face crinkle from the gesture. It comes out slightly saccharine, but it feels rare for Nyargh to ever seem pressured, so I want to be reassuring. Leave it to me. I turn towards the shelf without waiting for a response, moving a big armful of bottles to the table so I have everything easily within reach. But faintly, I think I hear Nyargh grunt.
Thanks.
The grin.
The work ends up being a little harder than I expected. How do I tie these things? Oh, my hands are big and rough and calloused, perfect for finding purchase on the rough streets and spending long hours at a steady gallop. But I am less used to work like this. I have never had to tie my shoelaces. The twine, especially, turns out to be a challenge. Wrapping the bottles in fabric is easy enough, but tying the twine off into neat ribbons is difficult. The first few packages I hand over to Nyargh take a little longer than I'd like, and notice Nyargh sparing 2 tentacles to wrap a few bottles himself in order to keep pace with the orders coming in. When each package takes me 2 or 3 tries to tie a proper ribbon, I can feel frustration starting to seep through me. It must show in my actions, because after finishing up another package, Nyargh briefly lays a tentacle on my hand. You're doing fine. It's harder if you rush. Aww. I'm also imagining him looping his tentacle and picking up a string and tying a bow with 2 little looped tentacles and going, that's such fine motor control. Like
dang.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't even know how these tentacles end. Like, honestly, I honestly see them, like, looping into each other. I don't see them actually having, like, ends.
Yeah, I have no idea. He's basically like a tangled ball of flesh yarn.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking.
Nyargh's voice is a low rumble, finishing off with a click of his teeth. It's neither gentle nor quiet, fighting to be heard over the din of the store. Still, the way his tentacle pats at my wrist once, twice, before returning to work is calming. It helps me figure out how to approach this work. I stop and think. Take a deep breath and calm down. We're gonna try that one.
Sure.
Take a deep breath, calm down. All right, everyone, deep breaths. Like Nyargh said, rushing won't solve anything. I need to calm down. Eyes closed, I take a slow, deep breath. Breathing in slowly like this, the sweet scent of honey flows into and over me like a warm blanket, settling heavily over my flickering nerves.
Heavily.
Thank you, heavily. It helps me calm down immediately and also drool.
I did.
All right.
I wonder what he would look like if he dove into the hole further. Oh, actually, I was kind of wondering that now, because now that opens up a lot of
questions. It really does.
Like, what
into several people would he? I know, interesting, right? Or would they be like Siamese twins or things like that? You know, what would you have? Parasitic twin? I mean,
right?
What would it translate to?
Right.
That would be fascinating.
Hi.
Harem. He is his own harem. If he is a personal, like, hive mind kind of thing, then who knows? It could be several people and they all just are one. Turns into quadruplets.
And you go,
identical quadruplets. Whoa.
And they're all interested in you.
Hi. Whoa.
Whoa. Hi.
All right. That's a good question, though. I like that.
That is actually a pretty excellent question. Mm-hmm. I appreciate that one.
I open my eyes and look towards Nyargh, giving him a small nod. He's already back to focusing on his own work, but I think I spot a pair of lips quirking into a slight smile at my response. There is a way that he can detect what's going on, though, whether it's, even though it's not seeing, because he can tell when we nod. And so his difference in sensory isn't necessarily making him differently abled, interestingly enough.
Which I appreciate, though, too. It's just different.
Yeah, just different. He's already back to focusing on his work. But I think, I think I can handle it. Thanks. I think I'm getting used to the work. It should be easier once I fall into a nice rhythm. Manufacturing always works that way. Oh
Yes.
my god. As I return to focusing on the task at hand, even the murmurs of the crowd eventually fade to a low buzz in the distance. And rap, tie, slide, rap, tie, slide. As I return,
What?
after a while, I think that was it.
Okay.
Task at hand. I think I got it. After a while, my hands start moving automatically.
Nope, spam.
Oh, hello, Spambot. Welcome aboard. I hope you enjoy your time here. Do we know how to report them?
I don't think I can. Hang on.
There's gotta be a reason. Spam? Can we just say spam? Sorry, we're trying to learn how to report the bot. Or he could have schizophrenia. Oh my goodness.
Possibly. He could have some sort of dissociative identity disorder, but I don't really think it works. He's too uniform.
I was gonna say, yeah, he's too contained. I don't think the mouths are different personalities. So, interesting idea, but I kind of doubt it.
Yeah, because I'm like, I don't think, as far as I understand how alters tend to work, that's not the
I
usual
understand
process.
very little about it.
Yeah,
so, pick up a bottle, wrap it in fabric, bring the twine around it, tie off a neat ribbon. Relaxed by Nyargh's advice and the sweet scent in the air, in the humming of the bees.
And the bees good.
I find myself working peacefully, my mind wandering comfortably. I just really want to hear the humming of the bees in the background.
You could be his multiple, I get
You could be it.
We are already, I think.
We are kind of all the personalities.
Right now, yes.
My mind wandering comfortably. I even find the time to soothe the stray bee that comes bumbling up to rub against my side.
Aww.
I love that there's some in cages and there's some that just wander around the store. It's so cute.
I didn't actually know that they were, outside of their cages.
Because he had one that was just at the counter with him, remember?
Oh.
And he says bees for sale are in cages.
Ah.
So his bees are apparently just, wandering about the store, which is so cute.
Aw, that's cute.
Uh-huh. Nyargh doesn't have to tend to packaging bottles after a while, leaving the task to me so he can focus on tending to the customers. Despite the bustle of customers, the atmosphere of the store is warm and comfortable, and I find myself feeling right at home. I wonder how big the jars are, given that you're mixing them with salt and stuff like that, and how much flavoring it takes. I wonder if it's more like a really precious, expensive thing, so they're little bitty jars.
I was kind of thinking that they were actually kind of small.
Like those little jars that some people wear on necklaces or whatever, like a 1 ounce jar or something.
Right? That could be cool.
At some point, a couple of bees have wandered over to inspect me. I didn't know there were that many until it was, that they were one to see me.
Boo, 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 boo.
Then, fallen asleep at my side. They're so cute!
Oh my god!
And these bees are going to kill me. I can feel their fuzzy bodies vibrate slightly with their rapid breaths. The presence cushioning, warm and soft around me.
I think it's supposed to be their presence, maybe? Their presence cushioning, warm and soft around me.
I think it needs a comma at least.
Right.
So this is so cute. Also, I think Nyargh's wonderful because clearly all his bees are very happy, which means he's doing a good job with them.
He's a good boy.
He's a good bee mom.
He is a good bee mom,
if you will. It's the crazy cat man.
Yes.
Separates bees. That crazy bee man.
Yes.
Absorbed in the moment, I almost lose track of time. Almost. It's a gentle touch to the shoulder that grabs my attention, and I look up to see Nyargh turn towards me.
Bill, are you all right on time?
Oh. I glance up toward the clock hanging on the wall behind Nyargh. Its feelers ticking away gently with each second. Love the living clock.
They're so good.
I should leave soon. I'll finish up what I was doing.
I'll just finish
up what I was doing. I just have a few more of these left to do. Actually, Bill. I just grabbed up another bottle and patch of fabric when a low hum of Nyargh's voice gives me pause. You can leave the wrapping to me, but would you mind grabbing me more bottles from that shelf over there? He's in the middle of tending to a customer, gently swaddling a trio of bottles in a large square of fabric to serve as a makeshift bag. One tentacle points over my back, towards a shelf, the wall that's neatly stocked with bottles upon bottles of honey. It's only on second glance that I realize the stock of bottles behind the counter is running low. Business must have been booming in the time that I was lost to my work. Sure thing. He smile. I love how he smiles. Thanks. I clamber to my feet, making sure not to knock anything over as I slip out from behind the counter and the pile of fuzzy bees.
I know.
I just as I gently extricate myself from the softness of the bees. The crowd's mostly thinned out, allowing me to move between people more easily as I make my way towards the shelf. And I hike the folds of my cloak up past my elbows once more, just to make sure they don't get in the way. What looks to be a small family is looking over the shelf when I approach it, and I excuse myself as I step past them. The jostling of glass bottles catches the attention of the small child they've brought along, and I look over when I feel eyes on me, realizing that the child is staring at me.
Ooh, big eyes.
They look awfully displeased, wide mouth flattening in a thin line, with just a peak of fangs poking through. Can I help you? I smile a little at the child, just enough to seem friendly, without crinkling the raw skin on my face, so hard that pus seeps through. The child seems unimpressed, all 4 eyes squinting at me.
I know why you're here.
The pouting voice is just enough to catch the attention of their parents, who look over to me. One gives an apologetic smile. I smile back before returning my attention to the child. Why not? Doesn't it smell nice in here? A crinkling of the nose and hands clenched tight tells me the answer is no.
It smells gross.
Ew.
No, it smells too much. I don't like this smell. Oh.
It's a curious response. I don't think I've ever met anyone who doesn't like the smell of honey. There's a reason it's considered such a universal luxury and treat. One of the parents shakes their head in mild exasperation, but I consider my words for a moment before responding. It's certainly rare for anyone to openly dislike
For
honey.
anyone? Oh dear. Oh.
Yeah, they tried.
They did try.
But
You're welcome.
it's okay. The kid voice, yes.
I you know what, Direct Initiate, my secret was, so I don't know, have you ever seen the Studio Ghibli film Nausicaa?
Oh no. Nausicaa, the Valley of the Wind.
No, Nausicaa, the Valley of the Wind, because so I practiced doing that little bitty chatty child voice a lot. The one that sings in the little song. So you know, it's in there singing. So that was me playing around doing that at one point. I've never done that.
You can
voice,
look
but I have
up
done it.
the lullaby from it. I don't know what it's called, but if you search, Nausicaa lullaby, it'll be that tiny little voice.
Yeah, it's
Say, so my good friend here has weebed enough to sing that song.
Yay! It's been me.
I would recommend watching it whole. Like, to me, it's a little intense and sad at places. Like, I have to watch it when I'm in, like, a certain mood, I guess, because otherwise it's just too sad and I cry. But, like, it's not a tragedy like some of their other movies, which is nice. It actually ends on a happy note, which makes me happy. It's just there's so much hardship. It's a rough time.
I like that movie a lot, though.
Oh,
so.
it's really pretty. It's, like, it's also really good. It's certainly rare for anyone to openly dislike honey. Anyone. I support them as being an anyone. When was the last time you had a food?
A food.
You have to anyone.
Anyone.
Right. Maybe they'll like it in time. It's all right to not like it. Do they like anything else? So we're talking to the parents now. I kind of like do they like anything else?
Right.
Mhm.
Sure.
Well, if they don't like honey very much, then maybe they like something else. After a moment of thought, I crouched down. Oh, we were just talking to ourselves. Got it, okay. To the child's eye level, keeping my weight carefully balanced on my hands. The child looks at me with mixed curiosity and caution. Then, can I ask what you do like?
What did I like?
I nod and wait for them to answer. The child hems and haws, gnawing on their own hand, and I take the opportunity to glance up at the parents. They give me a slightly exasperated smile, no doubt accustomed to dealing with their child's antics, but nudge the child to answer. The child finally extricates spittle-soaked claws from its mouth to tell me.
I like blood more.
I grin widely. I can feel the raw skin on my face stretch from the movement. but the child doesn't seem to mind. That's neat. I really like blood too. Blood salt is one of my favorites.
That's my favorite. My mom's and dad give me some on my birthday.
More Polly, that's adorable. You're so lucky. That sounds really great. I hope you get a bunch on your next birthday too.
I will.
A determined child, yes! The parents laugh quietly at the firm conviction in the child's voice. Yes! Even the author knows what they did.
Yes.
Seeming embarrassed, the child quickly turns away and buries their face in their parents' clothes, stamping their feet slightly on the floor. I know that embarrassed gesture.
It's cute.
Though muffled against the fabric, I can hear the quiet sounds of them whining. Stop.
Stop laughing.
I settle for grinning to myself as I pile my arms high with bottles of honey and give the parents a small nod as I make my way back to the counter. I can still hear the sounds of the parents quietly chiding the child as I round the corner to where Nyargh is diligently wrapping up 3 bottles of honey at a time.
Looks like you made a friend.
Nyargh speaks up at a low rumble, even as he keeps working, and I laugh. I wouldn't know about that, but at least I haven't made any enemies. I get a soft huff in return. For a few moments, the air is punctured only by the sounds of wrapping fabric rustling and the rhythmic thumping as I carefully tie down?
I think it's supposed to be tie down.
Tie down bottles one by one. When I glance, or put down, because you're putting them down under the counter. Sorry.
Yeah,
so
that would
maybe,
make sense.
like put down
Make
bottles.
thump, yeah.
When I glance over at the store floor, one of the parents has picked the child up so they can look at one of the higher up bee cages together. Bees! They're regulars. He seems pleased. Oh?
Come by once in a while. Kid never seems too happy. Always felt a little bad about it.
I actually love the idea that, okay, so this is something that I've heard with kids, if they're really sensitive to something that's a very normal part of reality, just slowly desensitizing them to it, instead of going, eat your vegetables, just being like, they're there, and you'll continue to experience them, and it's okay.
And it's also like, if you really care, just remaining positive about the thing that you eat. Kids are very good at imitating adults. In fact, that's usually how and why you get kids to eat things that look unusual or seem strange or smell kind of funny anyway.
Because everyone else is eating them.
Yeah, you just kind of go, okay, I just eat it because you eat it.
And with, just normalize, it just feels like they're trying to normalize honey for their kid without putting any pressure on them, and I like that.
Yeah.
All right.
So it's good of you to humor them a little.
Well, I didn't do anything special. It feels rare for Nyargh to praise anyone so openly, and I feel oddly sheepish about it. Too much attention, whoa. Settling down the last few bottles on the shelf, I quickly look them over for any cracks or damage. Did I do the bad?
I do.
I just said what anyone would say.
Anyone else would say?
You'd be surprised. Actually, I would not be surprised, but they might be surprised. But just going well, it's okay, oh, honey, what do you like? No, they need to like honey, and they're going to. God, I've met so many aggressive parents in my life. It's hard to talk to them sometimes. You're like, in a public place, hello, child, you are, hanging on the side of my shopping cart. Child, hello, parent, oh my God, don't do that. You're like, it's really fine.
It's
I
fine.
will ask them to get off. It's fine.
It's okay. I'm not inconvenienced.
There seems to be like a huge amount of basically social embarrassment attached to parenting, and I wish that people wouldn't feel it because it makes everyone's life hard.
Right.
Another huff from Nyargh, louder this time. I look over to see a brief grit of teeth before he purses his lips. His mini lips.
Sometimes people aren't flexible enough. Don't consider that other people think differently.
It's true.
I think it is supposed to be sometimes.
I think it is sometimes.
Yeah.
I think you are correct.
So you did something good for that kid.
His voice is firm. I get the odd feeling that acting too modest right now isn't the right thing to do. Him, take the compliment.
Do it.
So I end up nodding, even as I feel my own face warm a little. I blush. Thanks. Luckily, it doesn't take much longer to stock the shelf behind the counter. With these many bottles on hand, Nyargh should be able to see out the rest of the day without much trouble, I think. I dust my hands off before grabbing my pack, double-checking the floor to make sure I haven't dropped any salt packets. With how far behind schedule I already am, it would be disastrous if I left behind a delivery packet and had to come back for it. Nyargh, I have to get going. Nyargh's tentacles stop moving as he turns to look at me with his full attention. It makes me feel weirdly self-conscious, and my voice catches in my throat for a moment. Is that all right?
Of course.
He gives a solemn nod in response. I want to know what a nod looks like with that body.
I do
so
too.
do. Thank you very much, Vil. Nyargh's voice vibrates deeper than usual. He tends to speak quietly, without much emphasis, but his words at the moment feel oddly weighty, like he's saying something he considers very important. I shake my head and give him a smile. It's no problem at all. I'm glad I could help.
You don't need to be so humble. I know you took valuable time out of your route to help me, and I appreciate it greatly. You helped me tremendously.
Yeah, I love the little tongue at the top. It's good. I'm reminded of the fact that Nyargh usually mans the store alone. Always. Even for those who have good energy and stamina, it's unusual for anyone to run a store completely alone. So maybe it means that much more of Nyargh that I decided to stay and help.
Oh, what do we got?
Important question. Is there going to be tentacle?
I don't know. We don't think so. I mean, it's supposed to be rated PG-13.
Yep.
With the setting on. So what is it appropriate?
Again, I would love to rob the shop, but Mom would be bad. How about run the shop?
Run the shop, yeah.
How make fun of people?
It's true, because you could totally have that face of I'm quietly going
Having too much fun.
We do think we're going to get involved with Nyargh, but we have no idea what it will look like.
Yeah,
It's okay. We support their experience. We love the fact that your dad wants to keep the bees. It would just be great. He'd just be in a giant pile of bees going, ah yes, I am the honey king.
Wow.
Right. Then I decided to stay and help. I really can't afford to lose any more time. So I started adjusting the straps of my pack and the folds of my robe, even as I nodded. Well, I'm really glad I could help. If you ever need any help on another day, just let me know. Nyargh gives an almost imperceptible nod, watching as I start to round the corner to leave, but stops me at the last moment.
Vil?
Yes? Perhaps sensing my need to leave quickly, he answers promptly. I would hesitate, but I don't. I'd like to show you my appreciation with more than words. If you have time after you finish your route, I'd like if you come by.
I like it if you
come by the store afterwards. It's a curious proposal. I've never visited Nyargh's store so late. I hesitate for only a moment before grinning and nodding.
And I guess technically, they do have the one tentacle that has an end.
This one here, this particular expression, if you look down at the bottom, he's actually got one of his tentacles against his lip. The way some people put a finger or a hand against their lip, or a fist against the lip kind of thing. And I love that expression. It's very it's a thoughtful, charming. But yeah, he also has another end up scratching his head.
Right.
So they do end.
Actually, he used to put me on his shoulders and walk with me, and I went, "Bow to your lord, you foolish fool."
You are.
That
truly...
sounds like you, and I love it.
Also, you sound like a Disney villain, and I approve.
You know what? You just need to put a long cloak over your dad, and then you will be a Disney villain. It's literally two people in a trench coat. Fools! Fools! What's your Halloween costume? Trench coat and my dad.
Excellent.
Pardon? Sure. I can probably do that. Thanks. I love him scratching the top of his head, too. It's really cute.
Be safe. Good luck on your route.
Thanks. He sees me off without any more fanfare, returning to his work and only sparing one tentacle to give me a wave as I head out the door. As I exit the store, a fresh gaggle of customers approaches the door, no doubt looking to make some last-minute honey or bee purchases. Last-minute bee purchases.
Last minute.
All the bee purchases.
Yeah.
As rushed as I am, I make sure to hold the door open for them before starting down the street. The sweet smell of honey accompanies for a few paces before slowly losing its grip on me, allowing the bite of plain air to return to my lungs, a reminder of the job I have to do. Still, as I quickly ramp up into a steady gallop, I'm briefly reminded of the way Nyargh had thanked me, the deep rumble of his voice, the intense focus with which he regarded me, the gravity of his words. I wonder if he's basically like, the store is getting popular and big enough that I'm considering wanting a helper. And so like offer you a job and position, if you will.
Would you like a position?
Salt
I'll
delivery.
give you a position.
I'll show you a position.
position.
Salt delivery is such a routine job that few people appreciate it on a daily basis. So being thanked so sincerely for anything feels unusual in a good way. The thought that I was able to help Nyargh in such a meaningful way gives me a warm feeling in the pit of my stomach, and my pace quickens as I wind through the scattering of people on the street. I should keep up the good work so I can end the day feeling good. Time to focus on my route.
Thanks, Bill. Seems like you had a busy day, huh? You're cutting it pretty close.
Yeah, things have been a little hectic today.
I can imagine, since tomorrow's the big day, Good work. You should go rest up.
Thanks. I will. Have a good night.
You too.
Shiler is adorable.
Shiler's very cute.
It's adorable.
Adorbs.
Even smiling feels exhausting after the long day, but I still make sure to wave as I trot off, pawing at my pack to make sure all my deliveries have been taken care of. All done. Shiler, always our last delivery. And with barely a minute to spare, I really did cut things pretty close. But at the same time, I don't regret it. It feels like what happened today was pivotal and absolutely worth a bit of extra running. I actually like how our MC is really considerate of other people's experiences, but also is really affected by them in the sense of going, I feel that this is really important to you and I'm going to feel that with you.
Right.
Like, it's an interesting way to do sort of a blank slate character,
Right.
The way that a lot of these games want to. And my friend was actually commenting on it in between weeks, if you will. This experience of going, they seem a little blank, like they don't have a lot of opinions of their own,
Right.
because they really just jump in on other people's experiences.
Right.
But I think it's kind of an interesting way to have personality without having like so much personality that people might feel put off. Of going, just like for me, of going, they feel this and I'm enjoying feeling it with them. So
Yeah.
it's a neat choice and I kind of like it.
Yeah.
I end up taking the long route back home, backtracking a little bit. I walk past the Overlook office, which continues to watch silently over the city, the spire's eyeballs lazily cast over the landscape, though they blink slowly now and again, as if growing tired. I end up taking the long route. I cut through the park. The atmosphere here is different after dark, the spindly trees casting twisting shadows across the uneven ground. The air feels colder, too, and it feels different without Breton's boisterous presence walking by me. I'm feeling quite exhausted by the time I make my way past the row of stores. My feet feel sore, a hot ache working its way through my ankles and up the lengths of my legs, all the way to the pit of my stomach. Even my arms hurt from bracing against the ground. I thought I'd long since grown used to the physical strain of running my route, but today had certainly been a long day. My mind is occupied, keeping tally of how many different places my body aches, and I almost walk right to the end of the block before the warm glow of a store window catches my attention. I'm so tired that I forgot I was doing,
I tired.
Nyargh's store. His generous invitation races to the forefront of my mind. Of course, how could I have forgotten? That even the exhaustion seeping through my body is briefly forgotten, replaced by a small, warm thrill working its way outward from the very core of my chest. I'm a little excited. Almost every other store is closed now, their lights dimmed, though a few remain open. I can see the owners bustling inside, neatening up. I don't even know that word, neatening? That's cute. Neatening up their displays to close up for the night. Nyargh's storefront is the only one still lit, the warm glow of honeyed lights filtering out past the glass and spilling onto the ground below.
You okay?
Pardon? I have to sniffle real quick.
My friend got to
I
I'm so
sniffle.
sorry.
I just don't want to sniffle like right into the mic. And go, yeah. There we go. Pardon the sniffles.
The sniffs.
As I draw closer, I can see the faint movements of a few restless bees moving about in their cages, but the store is otherwise empty.
Yay, bees!
Bees! The small handwritten sign on the door has been flipped from open to closed. Maybe Nyargh also forgot? I drift towards the door, trying to peek through the little window to see if he's inside, but it swings open before I can get that close.
He was waiting.
There you are.
Look at his face.
Whoa.
That is a completely new expression.
Yes.
Woohoo! Yes.
I was worried I'd made you too late to finish your route.
I shake my head, smiling. It's kind of him to worry. I managed to finish it on time, though it was, admittedly, a close call. Today's been an interesting day, but I'll be happy if I don't have to run that many deliveries again in one day.
Right?
Nyargh nods sympathetically before holding the door open wider. It's fascinating to see him against this other background as
I know,
well,
I was like,
but
whoa.
also his posture is completely different since he's not working. It's interesting.
Yeah.
Let's see. Nyargh nods sympathetically before opening the door wider. The smell of honey comes wafting outwards, and I can hear the faint chittering of a pair of bees arguing with each other. Some of the ache in my muscles seems to melt away. Sorry, and I eagerly stumble forward through the open doorway. Thanks, Nyargh. Bees.
Don't mention it.
Look at the happy. He said that one smile in front is amazing. Also, he has very well cared for teeth.
Angles, I think. Is
Like I
what.
said, he did. He rotated his whole body because this little face is usually this, like here, like no, like yeah, he's shifted his
There's
body
been some
around.
shifting. It
Like
looks
these
good.
teeth are usually at this side, I think, and so he's looking at us differently. Anyway, it's great. I love it.
It looks awesome.
I've never seen Nyargh's store so empty before. The atmosphere feels completely different after doing this. These bees. Now that it's just the two of us in here. Much more peaceful. So peaceful. Oh my god.
I don't know why it's funny, but it's funny.
Really funny. Alright, everyone, make your best bee sound. Your grumpy bee sound. Alright, much more peaceful. So peaceful.
Ooh, the buzzing.
There's a buzzing sound. That's
There
so
is.
weird in like the headphone. Oh my god. I'm just like, whoa, bee in my ear. Whoa, bees. Nyargh's let most of the bees out from their cages to roam. Even the ones for sale get out at night.
Yeah.
Yes. Now that the floor is empty and there's less danger of them getting squished or trampled by customers. And it's a pleasure seeing them bumble about. That just sounds so cute.
Oh.
Some cuddle together in a corner, dozing. Others wander about, chittering at each other and exploring familiar territory. A pair near the entrance are fighting, clumsily swiping at each other with their legs and making angry buzzing noises.
Yes, we knew it.
Nyargh coolly separates the arguing pair. No. No. No.
The charge for it.
I use my huge bulky body. Him cuddles them both. It's fine.
It's
Cup,
okay.
cup. Tucking one under a tentacle each as he passes by. He really just pick up one under one arm, pick up one under the other one. It's your arguing children. You tuck them under your arms.
They are my babies.
It's all mine picking up Bakugo and Midoriya.
These are my beer. These are my bee children.
My bee children.
I almost called them beer children. He's just like, I'm gonna really need to go get one after these fights, cause like, damn, wow. I
All
thought
mine
this
needs
was
a
bad when Endeavor assumed he was on my level, but like, whoa,
Whoa.
Okay.
Nyargh coolly separates the arguing pair, tucking one under a tentacle each as he passes by. They calm down quickly. It feels so different here after closing time. I state what must be the obvious, but Nyargh still humors me with a nod. Bees. Happy little bees.
Sticking out the little mouthpiece.
He leads the way to the back of the store. One of them calms down quickly. The other one throws a little bit of fit, spits honey. Past rows of empty shelves and open cages. A few bees have opted to remain in their cages, sleeping or cleaning themselves. One chirps at me when I approach, and I make sure to give it a pat on the head as I pass by. Don't forget me, Peep. Peep. There's a door at the far end of the store, in a corner that's not immediately visible from the entrance, and Nyargh pulls it open. Just inside the doorway is a hanging curtain of yellow beads. Worm curtain!
Worm curtain!
It is a string worm curtain, string worm curtain.
Worm curtain! Worm curtain!
Providing one more layer of protection between the storefront and what must be Nyargh's private area. Go ahead. Also, it's yellow, like the bees. A pair of tentacles reach over me to pull aside a few strands of beads. They rustle against each other, giving off a faint smell. It's pleasant, like honey, but more muted,
It's
and with the
wax,
undercurrent
maybe.
of something woodsy and natural. Should be beeswax hardened beads. Beads. I love that.
Yeah.
That's so good.
Ah.
They're made of beeswax. Well done, person, because I understand, like, beeswax really does smell like that in some varieties, and it's different depending on, like, the type of honey. But, like, yeah, especially if it's from trees, it will smell like woodsy or smoky and stuff like that. It's pretty cool. Nyargh must have noticed me looking at them curiously, because he gives a quiet explanation as he shifts a strand of beads over his tentacle. The smell is a little more mellow than honey. Helps me calm down after a long day. I kind of love that anyways, going like, it keeps a little bit of the honey smell from the rest of my shop out, too.
Right.
They're great. Like, did you roll them and string them yourself? Ooh. Indeed, the little hallway past the doorway feels calming to walk down. The air still feels warm, but without the intensity of the storefront. And if this were actually a horrifying game, we'd be like, no, don't go down the hallway.
Right.
But everything in this game has still been just really safe.
It's comfy.
Yeah. But without the intensity of the storefront. The lights are dimmer, the air less saccharine sweet, and the bustle of the streets outside feels further away. A small stairwell branches off to the right, but Nyargh gestures me past it, toward an open doorway at the end of the hallway. As I step through the open doorway, I can't help pausing and blinking. Nyargh's private quarters aren't quite what I imagined, but I had imagined them.
I thought about it.
I'd totally imagined them. Definitely a pleasant surprise. Oh, look at that. He keeps plants and bees.
That would be...
Look at that.
Oh.
And he's actually got like wooden furniture. The hanging bed is freaking adorable.
That's, or
Like,
a couch maybe.
Or couch or what have you. I'm not sure, but it's hanging furniture with vines. And look at the sunlight.
That's so good.
This is great. He really is like very careful, thoughtful, well-kept individual. Like, and really does like, I run the business, I do all the things. And he really is like a careful bee owner and stuff like that. It's really, I like him more all the time.
He's fantastic.
All right. I think, oh, sorry.
Go ahead and take a seat.
Go ahead and take
Take a seat. It's time to go ahead and take a seat.
I sink into the plush seating. Sorry. Feeling the material
Plush
compress. It's plush. It blushes.
Blush.
All right. Feeling the material compress under my weight. There's a natural warmth to the material and the way it molds around my body. It's wonderfully comfortable. I find myself giving a content sigh as I lean back.
Oh, contented.
Mm-hmm.
Or it could be content sigh.
Could be
I guess.
either.
Yeah.
Enjoying the way the seating gently holds my weight. Ultimate in butt comfort.
Yes.
Gently swaying. You're right. It is a seat. It's like an actual couch or a seat. What I also love right here is like he's well off because most people can't afford bees. So he actually runs a really expensive business. So our dude has like really nice furniture because he's really well off.
Oh, he
This
is the
just
rich
so
boy.
everyone knows, this is the rich boy. So of all of your love interests, this is our rich one. The other one, good stable job. This one, I'm the business owner, the rich man.
Yes.
And then you have your sporty adventurous type. All right. Nyargh takes the chance to deposit the 2 bees. You didn't forget them! Yes! I was gonna say that he was still carrying them and assume they'd forgotten, but I actually trusted the game enough to think that he brought them with him, and he did.
Nice.
To deposit the 2 bees he's been carrying into my lap. Oh!
Aw.
Here, have the bees. Boink. They seem to have forgotten all about their little spat during the short walk from the storefront. Now content to sit next to each other, one promptly begins crawling around the couch, antenna patting over the material, in search of the most comfortable spot to sit. The other seems happier, sitting where it's been placed, starting to groom itself with small humming noises. We're just holding the bee. The arrhythmic flicker of feelers and wings over my skin tickles. Let me go get something to drink.
Oh, you invited us for a drink in the evening after work. Whoa.
Nyargh heads towards the doorway at the end of the room, and I make a cursory move to sit up. Should I help?
Us lounged across this entire thing, decadently with bees.
I can do it.
Look at that smug little grin on top of his face.
Look at it, bee.
I love the
So
things.
good.
So much expression.
You should relax for a few minutes.
Admittedly, I'm feeling so comfortable at that moment. The moment that the prospect of getting up isn't terribly appealing.
Warm, squishy, perfect flesh couch. Warm, fuzzy bees. I sleep. Bonk.
I sheepishly nod before sinking back into the couch, feeling gentle vibration against my thigh as the two bees hum. This might be my first time in Nyargh's private quarters, but the atmosphere is incredibly comforting. I'm not usually the type to immediately feel comfortable in an unfamiliar environment, but I can't feel any of that unusual tension.
That usual
tension when I'm sitting here on Nyargh's couch. Extremely comfy, clean, plush couch. Where the atmosphere
We sit on
is
the
sweet.
comfy couch.
The big, comfy couch.
Is sweet and cozy and warm. Past the doorway, I can hear the gentle sounds of a heating organism grumbling to life, followed by the low drone of Nyargh's voice as he convinces it to quiet down. We're just making coffee. It's okay. The wandering bee threatens to slide off the couch in search of something.
Yes.
So I absolutely pull it close, reaches out arms, scoot, nestling its fluffy body against my own. I knew there'd be bee cuddles in this route.
Love.
I knew it.
Oh, we're funny.
Oh, the bee buzzes only briefly in protest, before seeming to settle down. The one in my lap, too, has fallen into a steady rhythm of grooming itself, and the tickle of its antenna brushing across my stomach now and again, and is comforting. Now and again is comforting in a weird way. It feels nice. We have passed out. Ponk. Bye. It's the smell of honey from somewhere very close that pulls me back to consciousness. Phew! Ha! I open my eyes to the sight of Nyargh, settling himself into a chair across from me. And there's the chair.
Yay!
Pep. Sorry, I didn't mean to fall asleep. My voice comes out groggier than I expected, and I can feel my cheeks heat up as I sit up and rub my face, trying not to get pus on things. It's fine.
It's fine.
The bee that I'd been cuddling buzzes in complaint at the fact that I dared to move. It is a cat. No.
Excuse me.
But it quiets down again once I've settled into position.
So good.
It's so good.
Don't worry about it.
He's fine.
You looked exhausted. It must have been a long day for you.
I guess you could say that. Oh, look at that!
Tentacle and food.
Tentacle. Oh my God! Hide in the text. No.
Let me
Nope.
do it.
Sorry.
Stop it.
Sorry. I failed to hide the text. Look at that! He brought food, and the bee is like, "I will also try the food, like a small
That's
dog
so
or cat."
good. Yes.
Look at how floofer those bees are.
I know.
Yes.
Isn't it so cute?
I would be like, if I wasn't in love already, I'm in love. They are adorable. They just passed out so comfortable on my couch with my bees. Yes.
The bees.
Adorable.
I am for
It is
this.
so cute. I rub at my eyes to chase away the last feathery tendrils of sleep, and then realize that Nyargh's placed a small but elaborate tray on the table between us. One of the bees eagerly crawls over, snatching up something from the small platter of snacks, before either of us can stop it. The biscuit crumbles in its mandibles, stopping it from gobbling up the whole snack, though. And I gently tug it back into my lap. Nyargh nods approvingly. It can have the thing, that's fine.
Thanks. They get real eager about stealing food when they can.
It is that cat that immediately steals your sandwich.
Uh-huh.
Like, you're like, I have sandwich. They're like, no. And then
No.
you start pulling.
I wonder if it's gonna be like, this is a salt biscuit, or is it something else?
I wonder if it's something else too.
I'm
I am
so
curious.
curious.
I am. All right. I can imagine with how good it smells. What is it?
Tea.
Sorry. Tea.
Look, Palm, we have
tea and
served the tea.
biscuits. It's Palm. You'll be so excited. The tea has been served by
Yay.
Nyargh, nonetheless. You didn't need to make it so elaborate.
flattered. Super flattered, like, whoa,
Oh.
I feel a little not as important as this. I do the polite thing, acting modest, but I'm sure there's a hungry edge to my expression that betrays my words. You didn't need to be so elaborate, I say with huge eyes and a drooling face. Blah. Everything smells marvelous. Steam waves from the teapot when Nyargh lifts the lid to check the color of its contents, filling the air with a sweet, pervasive warmth. I reflexively take a deep breath, and the tiny beads of moisture cling to the inside of my nose. My head almost feels a little fuzzy, and I watch, transfixed, as Nyargh begins pouring out the tea. It's viscous, like tree sap, amber, with a tinge of reddish brown. Is this blood honey?
Is this like royal jelly honey?
Maybe.
Ooh.
As it pools in the cup, it smells delicious, but not as cloyingly sweet as I expected from the steam.
Go ahead.
I must have looked awfully eager, because Nyargh gestures with a tentacle before pouring his own cup. I'm dying of wanting this. Him, just drink it. It's fine. You don't have to wait for me.
Aye.
Thanks. I place the cup to my lips and take a small sip. A dark, bitter taste spreads across my tongue first. Then it's soon chased after by a wonderful, mellow sweetness that does just enough to take the edge off the flavor. The two aspects of the tea work in perfect harmony, making a drink that's awfully hard to put down.
What is it?
How did the other half live? Damn. Oh. I look up to see Nyargh practically dumping a cupful in his mouth. Him, I am not going to put it down. Glorp. Then pouring himself another cup. Him, do not be tentative. I will lead by example.
Right.
To be fair, the cup does look rather small in his tentacle and compared to the bulk of his body. But they were so beautiful, so even small, I bought them.
I love them.
What kind of tea is this? I'm sure I've never had it before. It's amazing. Nyargh gives a small nod, as if approving of my delight. I wanted to dazzle you. I did so. Excellent.
Score.
I root and worm leaf tea. The leaves are steeped in honey for a long time before being brewed. Gives a nice balance of flavors.
I love that idea where they're basically candied tea leaves
I
that you
know.
then boil. That's
Sounds
amazing.
so good.
It sounds
Dang.
really good. I'm like, blah.
Nom, nom.
He drinks more slowly from his second cup. A deep, rumbling noise buzzes from the core of his body, as if in appreciation. And
I add a little honey to it after brewing. I hope it's not too sweet for your tastes.
I love this mouth here with the chunky teeth.
Uh-huh. I
It's
thought that
so
all the
good.
teeth are great. They
They're
have
ve-
such like texture to them, and it's awesome.
It's really good. It's wonderful. I blurt out the answer immediately, because it's true.
Like, damn, dude.
Like, whoa. But this looks expensive. You didn't have to. Now that I look closely, I recognize the snacks as salt biscuits. Salt and bone powder blended together, then baked to create a light and crunchy texture. A sheen of amber honey covers their tops. They look mouth-watering. He bakes.
He bakes.
If he keeps bees and he bakes and he is a bachelor, oh my goodness.
What even?
What a wow.
Wow.
I'm like, you are a catch. Oh. But he just seems like so gentle and sweet and thoughtful. It's really and like particular and with such a good work ethic. All things that I am partial to. No. I may have a type. Oh. Let's see. They look
He's cottagecore gay.
He might be. You know what? He is super cottagecore with the bees and everything. And
Honestly,
the tea. Yes.
I am really surprised
Cottagecore tentacle monster.
that he doesn't have like 90 million more flowers somewhere.
A
like-
bunch of like I wonder if these things just aren't in bloom and they do go into bloom.
Maybe.
And then like sometimes his apartment is in like full bloom with flowers
they're
everywhere.
so good.
And the living sort of moving little flowers that would be all over things.
I mean, you could say gay as in we the gays, you know, the
Yes,
overarching
the royal gay.
The royal gay.
He's royal gay.
He's the royal gay.
It's fine. But yes, I say also like just imagine the various little details of things and the fact that he actually like has like this glass thing here is like a china cabinet for his tea set collection. Like I would love that.
Like, that's
So
awesome.
good. Also brews his own teas.
Like, dang.
Yeah, Cottagecore. Well called.
Well called. I approve.
This is great.
Accepted. Boink.
Honestly, like I just being like, I love just cottagecore tentacle monsters. And people go, what?
What?
What? All right, let's see.
They look mouthwatering.
They look mouthwatering, but the fact that salt biscuits alone are fairly pricey treats gives me pause. Not to mention all the honey. Even if Nyargh owns his own bee store, it feels strange casually eating so much honey.
This much.
Whoa. But Nyargh only shakes his head. He sees it, and he's like, he's fine. You fine. This is the sushi scene where they take you out, and they're like, no, eat everything, even though you're the poor, person.
Right.
This is that anime thing where they're like, I'll take you out for the expensive food, and you're like, I can't eat it, too expensive. And they're like, no,
Just
it's
eat it,
fine.
it's fine.
But even better, because cottagecore.
Right.
It's my treat, Bill.
Eat
as much as you'd like.
There's a pause before he continues, as if he needs a moment to choose his words.
Oh dear.
I'm
sure you've noticed, but it's not often that I ask for any help around the store. I don't need it often, so I've grown quite bad at asking for it. So I appreciate your willingness to help at the last minute.
Yes. You do look pretty used to handling everything by yourself. It must help having so many hands. I give him an admiring smile before finally picking up a salt biscuit. I would have been loath to admit it, but my mouth had been watering the moment I spotted them, and as long as I have Nyargh's blessing, I am excited to try one out. Also, another thing that I like about this, and I've been noticing it as we go route through route with the different characters, all the body parts seem to be labeled uniformly.
Mm-hmm.
If you have feet or not, if the little bone posts of Yeastel, they're just called feet. And
Right.
then whether you have, eyes or not, you still see. And even though he doesn't have hands on the ends of his tentacles because he uses them that way,
Right.
they're his hands. It actually creates a piece of world building where if somebody had a particular type of, organ or whatever that was unique to them, it would probably have, a distinctive name, but otherwise it's just these sort of generic names no matter what you look like, which is a level of coming together rather than othering that's
Right.
really cool.
It is.
Because they don't seem to base any of their society on what people look like very much. And so there's really this level of it's extremely inclusive of if you grab things with them, they're hands.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
I think that's just really neat.
It's really friendly.
It's really, and again, it suggests a very unified culture,
Mm-hmm.
But even you would have been overwhelmed on a day like today. I'm not sure if I've ever seen a crowd like that. Anyone would have needed your help. I take a small bite of the biscuit, closing my eyes as I savor the flavor. The familiar, sharp sting of salt is undercut by the softer, chalkier taste of bone powder, brought together by the sweet notes of honey. I find myself shoving the whole thing into my mouth without a second thought. I bite. I am restrained. Crunch. No, I am not. Nom 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 nom.
Sounds so good.
It does. It's the most delicious thing I've eaten in a while. I'm sure me picturing all the food here, drawn Ghibli style, it just makes everyone hungry.
I know. Into the world.
It's only the feeling of biscuit filling my mouth that reminds me of my manners, and I cover my mouth with my hand as I chew, trying not to drool from the corner of my mouth.
Sorry,
I drool. But when I glance up, Nyargh seems lost in thought. His various mouths closed or opened slightly, his tentacles holding his teacup aloft before him, but not moving.
Aww.
I also love this experience that we recognize his expressions as either thoughtful or, intense or friendly. It suggests that we know him very well, and I love that because even with regular people with our unified flat faces, as it were, it takes the time to learn people's expressions and what they mean. And it suggests that Bill's paid a lot of attention to him. And again, that just thing that all of the love interests well, and that just makes me really happy.
There's a level of basically intimacy that is conveyed due to the fact that your character doesn't have to question a lot about them,
And doesn't
especially
have to get to know them.
It's I think honestly in a way because it's very meta is just talking about going for your audience that goes I am a human person, that your character is very comfortable actually helps you feel very comfortable. It's pretty good.
I just described some good magical food in the Arcana roleplay a minute ago. It made my partner hungry.
Yes, perfect.
I love
That
doing
is
that
how
sort of crap.
fictional food should work. Everyone
Yes.
should be hungry afterwards.
Yes.
All right, here we go. Let's see, lost in thought. I'm halfway to surreptitiously.
Surreptitiously.
Surreptitiously. Thank you.
Surreptitiously. What about
So I'm halfway to surreptitiously reaching for a second biscuit when Nyargh suddenly speaks up. I will take a biscuit, but I'll try not to look too obvious about it.
Right.
I was surprised. I didn't expect that many people.
Really? Huh. I start to pull my hand back, but Nyargh picks up the biscuit and hands it to me instead, in my stead. I love that. He's just like, do not hesitate with my hospitality. I give it to you.
It's okay.
It's
Like
super cute.
truly, Dragonishi, that's really cute.
It's
like,
very adorable.
I approve of role plays that really just like you spend that time and you drag you just sort of like, and not drag them into it, but just kind of like you just bring someone into it unexpectedly, and they're just like, that sounds.
They get completely wrapped in, and they're just like, ooh. I have one character who cooks, and he just makes the food. And both of us have such a hard time before role playing with him in the room, going, we're now hungry. Now everybody have to stop playing because hungry. Everybody's hungry. Hungry. It's great. He's just, and it's stuff that I've never thought of before. Like, he's a great food inspiration character because he has so many good ideas. It's a lot of fun. All right. Let's see. I love that. He's like, hands it to me in my stead. I feel a little flustered and try to assuage my gluttonous guilt by giving a few tiny crumbs of the biscuit to the bees shuffling curiously around me. Nyargh's told me before that the bees shouldn't eat too much salt, but tiny pieces as treats is permissible. The bees chitter in delight, eagerly crunching on their treats.
I expected a crowd since the eclipse is coming up, but I didn't expect it to be that big, especially with my reputation.
Maybe your reputation's getting better.
Hey, maybe.
It takes me a moment to figure out what he means. Oh, you mean those people who gossip about you? Nyargh nods, finally moving his teacup and pouring its contents in one of his upper mouths. The tongue emerges afterward to lick his lips, one of the other mouths smacking its lips in satisfaction. He moves to pour himself a third cup as he speaks. I am getting hive mind experience from the different mouths. That's great.
Right.
I don't address it, but I know what people say about me, and I figured it would keep people away from the store, but that didn't seem to be the case, so I was caught off guard by how many people came today.
Came by today.
I missed the bye.
You're fine.
Came today.
Why you missed the bye? It's
I
probably
missed the
because you're
bye.
pan.
Could be. Oh my god. Okay, that's hilarious.
You're welcome.
I take my time with my second biscuit, chewing slowly. After overhearing the gossipers so many times, I can easily recall what they said amongst themselves. Something about Nyargh actually sucking the energy out of people. In this warm, beautiful house? No way. I have to fight the urge to roll my eyes, even now. I instead focus on considering what to say. I chew, swallow. Need a moment? Have a then take a sip of my tea as I organize my thoughts. I don't believe those rumors. The people who gossip are just inconsiderate jerks. People are quick to gossip about things they don't know. You know, I think I kind of like that last one, actually.
People are too quick to gossip about things they don't know?
Yeah, basically of going, you're unfamiliar to them, so they're just making stuff up.
I would really love to honestly know, though, why also the gossiping. Again, I'm like, is there really, like,
a reason?
We don't like eldritch horror things, or is it because, one, you're wealthy and we find that to be suspicious, or is it even something of, like, you came from somewhere different?
I'm hoping that we find out in this route.
Right.
We'll find out he climbed up through the hole. Oh.
That would be wild.
And then he just adjusted.
Right.
A person just totally adjusted.
Uh-huh.
People are too quick to gossip about things they don't know. Because it's like, I don't think it's right to gossip in the first place. And I don't believe any of those rumors.
Even though there's no I. It says, and don't believe.
Oh, and don't, thank you. I rearrange my words in my head once more, considering them carefully. I like how thoughtful Bill is. I also like that when you choose the dialogue, it's really what you're thinking, and then you decide where to go, and that the game's made that fairly clear.
Right.
It's kind of nice, because it's sort of confusing the way it works in some other games.
Right.
I think people are just too quick to gossip about things they don't understand. It's not right for them to spread rumors like that, but I also think it's not really worth paying attention to. Especially since I don't think anyone will believe rumors like that. Nyargh purses his lips, in seeming thought for a moment, before giving a small nod.
That's quite a level-headed assessment.
I'm not sure if it's meant as a compliment or not, and a twinge of unease prickles at my spine. Well, that's not to say you're wrong to be frustrated or feel annoyed. I think that's perfectly justified. I've never been in your position, not even close to anything like it, so I can't pretend I understand how you feel. But I just meant
I doubt those people are even thinking very hard about what they're saying, or they wouldn't be spreading such ridiculous rumors. I don't think they mean you any ill, especially if they're still at your store considering buying things from you. So if they're just saying empty things, then it's not worth the effort of worrying about them, perhaps? It's sort of beneath you, in a way.
Well?
I must have been a little flustered, because those words spilled out before I could stop them. You're better than all that, you know?
You're so
Nyargh's interruption is gentle, but firm, and halts me in my tracks.
I understand what you mean. Thank you.
You don't need to go on to explain yourself at great, tedious length. It's all right. No, but I will. It's okay. I don't think you were being insensitive. It must show in my face that I'm not entirely sure if those things are warranted, because he continues patiently.
I think you're correct on all fronts. I do feel frustrated about those people. I do get annoyed at them. But I also know it wouldn't be right to condemn them for something that ultimately doesn't affect me very much. I don't know if their circumstances, after all. Who knows? Maybe those people have been hurt in the past by something or the other. It would be insensitive of me to assume that they have cruel intentions when they're only being wary.
I nod. It's very much like Nyargh to consider the matter so calmly and maturely.
I dislike people who are quick to judge others, you see.
Him, I have a pet peeve.
Annoyance.
And it puts me at ease to see there are people like you who try to see things from multiple perspectives.
Which is why he was so charmed with the way we addressed the kid.
Uh-huh.
Because he's like, you're not judging instantly.
Mm-hmm.
That's neat.
So, thank you.
The thanks are warranted. Take them. He is this person that is like, if I give you a compliment, accept it.
Please.
Right.
Yes.
Nyargh's overt praise is enough to make me feel a little embarrassed. And I can feel a faint heat rising in my cheeks, even as I shake my head. And honestly, there's something really good about taking people's compliments, but also, like, you don't have to agree with them, but it's their opinion, and let them have it.
Mm-hmm.
If they think you're awesome, let them think that, you know? I didn't really say or do anything special, I don't think. But as long as you feel better, I'm glad. Us, I am not the good at things. Him, you're really, really fine.
You're okay.
For what it's worth, I don't think you would ever do anything to hurt people. So I would never pay attention to those sorts of rumors. I believe in you. Several of Nyargh's mouths widen in toothy grins. I love it. It's so good. And before I can react, he reaches out with a pair of tendrils, winding them around me.
Aww.
Their grips are warm and gentle, firm without being rough, molding perfectly around my shoulders as he gives me a hug.
Oh,
he hugs.
he do hug.
He do a hug. That's so
hug.
cute.
He get the huggy boy.
Thanks.
Oh,
Thanks, Bill. I truly appreciate it.
The tentacles squeeze once more, pulsing against my arms, before withdrawing. I'm not sure I've ever seen Nyargh make such an affectionate gesture before, and it feels all the more special. Finally, accepting the compliments.
Yes, brilliant.
Perhaps because it was such a rare moment, Nyargh looks somewhat embarrassed. Him blushes, whoo,
I do.
clearing his throat as he withdraws his tentacles.
But, Bill, as much as I appreciate your trust, I can't pretend to be totally innocent.
I was waiting for it. I was waiting for him to go, you trust me, but there is something I do.
Right.
Huh? For one moment, I wonder if the rumors are true. Nyargh, perhaps sensing my hesitation, shakes his head.
The rumors aren't true, of course. But I do have an idea of where they originated. Gossip usually don't spring up out of thin air, after all.
Gossip usually don't spring up. Wow, that was wildly southern of you for 2 seconds.
I was going to say it was. It's that they be gossiping.
Hey, you na gossip.
Aye. It's somewhat of a shock to hear, but it makes sense. It does usually come from that. Ask
Aye.
what happened. I want to know what happened.
Yeah,
like,
sure.
he's our friend. Let's ask.
Yeah, like, I see no reason, even if you're like, try to like,
there you go.
you know, I
yeah,
just want to
no,
make sure
that's
I had it.
fine. Sure, there's a story here.
Surely.
Surely there's a story here. I should ask for clarification before making any assumptions. And the fact is like, as for like Vil, I feel like they'd want to avoid making an assumption, even because if you have just a little bit of information, your mind will come to conclusions whether you mean it to or not. And they're so very careful. I feel like this fits very well.
Well, and also that felt like a clear invitation as well. So
It did, as
there
well.
There is actually reasons, and then he just kind of stops,
Mhm.
going like, "Do you want to hear?"
Yeah. Can I ask what caused the rumors then? There's a pause before Nyargh nods.
It wasn't anything grand or dramatic,
but you know how rumors can be. People like to gossip, and rumors tend to change as they're passed from person to person. Something small and insignificant can grow rapidly under
the right
circumstances. Nyargh gives a small sigh, one of his tentacles rising to knead at the spot of soft flesh between two of his mouths.
Yeah.
I trust you're not the type.
Not the type, excuse me.
To misunderstand what I'm saying.
Excuse me.
I don't think so. I nod quietly. Still, Nyargh hesitates for a moment longer. Us, big trusting look, him. Here goes nothing. One of the bees that has been keeping me company seems to be growing bored, and it begins crawling away in search of excitement. Nyargh picks it up in two of his tentacles, stroking its back to calm it down. It responds by giving a long, low drone of contentment, vibrating away in his hands.
So cute.
Thoughtfully, brushing the end of his tentacle against the bee's neck, Nyargh works through his thoughts for a moment longer, as I wait patiently. It's rare to see Nyargh open up about himself like this, so it must be something he's deliberated over for a long time. I don't want to rush him. I dislike the taste of salt. Oh, he also dislikes a very normal food.
Aww.
And so people are like, but that's the food.
Uh-huh.
That's really cute. And so he eats weird things and does weird stuff.
Aww.
Because, and some people do. It's like that war over the you can't not like chocolate. If you don't like macaroni and cheese, I will disown you kind of thing.
I have had people do, or people
People get really sensitive over you not liking a food they like.
But again, it reminds me of that conversation you and I have actually had, even on other basically series, I guess, of going like, for example, my friend doesn't like alcohol, like period, and it's just a taste thing. And even I have basically fallen victim to the whole thing of going, you're judging me. Because that also seems to be a very common reaction, going, well, you just think you're better than everyone because you don't like the socially acceptable thing. And it's like, no. And I wish people would stop taking it really personally, yeah.
And there is this level of like morality to the experience of I like or don't like a food in many cases, where people go, I'm either better than you because I like broccoli, or you think you're better than me because you don't like sugar.
Right.
Because there's a moral value on it. And
because we moralize food a lot. Like that's the one thing that I hate.
We moralize food to hurt people too.
Going,
it's weaponized. It's terrible.
Bad.
That's so cute though. I love that distinction. Many, many, many mouths, and you don't like the taste of salts. You know? Oh. My first thought is that it? But it can be a really big deal. Going, yeah.
Do you find that anticlimactic?
Look at him smiling, just grinning everywhere. Nyargh's voice is quiet and calm, his hand continuing to stroke down the bee's back, as if to keep himself anchored. No, it's not that. I guess I did expect something a little bigger, if it was the start of all those rumors about you. After all, the rumors are a little nasty, and your reason seems pretty innocuous. People do, though. They really judge hard sometimes when you don't like a certain food. There was a whole thread on Tumblr about what food has basically had what food do you not like that's had someone up in arms? And people being like, really mentioning things of going, I nearly lost a friendship over this, or like, my family threatened to disown me, or there was a screaming match about you can't not like ranch dressing, like this kind of stuff.
Yeah, like what seems really petty and silly.
But again, there's like strong emotional attachments to some things. Yeah. And like, I find this fascinating. What an excellent choice. But if you think about it, I guess it makes sense that people might fixate on it. Because we all need salt to live. Without salt, we wouldn't be able to sustain life. Even the hardest...
We wouldn't be able to sustain itself.
Thank you.
Which I don't know. I think it's supposed to be sustain life.
Or sustain life itself.
Yeah, that
There
too.
we go. Without salt, we wouldn't be able to sustain life itself. Even the hardiest individuals I know wouldn't be able to last more than 2 weeks with at least a little salt, whether it's from a block of salt or an indirect source. So, for someone to actively dislike salt would be quite strange. Like someone who actively dislikes breathing. Exactly.
Or it could also be an assumption that you need salt, which is where I think sometimes people get off on going like, we've moralized food, we've weaponized food, is going, but this is necessary to existing. Eating chocolate is necessary. Someone, I'm allergic to chocolate, but it's so necessary
But
to
you
exist.
have to have it. So,
Yeah.
you know, and the thing is like, I don't know if he still eats it. I imagine he still does, like the whole salt biscuit thing. And going, if it's disguised in enough other things,
Right.
you can get it down. But it's like trying to take, you know, like horrific vitamins or medicine or something, just going,
Right.
ugh.
Well, but the thing is he hasn't eaten any of the biscuits.
He hasn't, so I don't know. I don't know if he eats salt or not, but that's very interesting. Well, but again, indirect source. So for someone to act, I like the idea, the comparison to breathing.
I've always known it's a rather unusual trait,
Though there are a few of my kind, mostly my relatives, we've always been careful to keep it discreet, because it's such a big point of contention. But for all of us, it gets out sooner or later. He sighs, sounding somewhat exasperated. The bee in his grasp looks up, its buzzing coming to an abrupt stop. Thanks to it, Nyargh realizes he's stopped his petting of the bee. Bee, excuse me,
Bitch.
excuse me, and promptly resumes. Only then the bee settles back down, spoiled and content. This is a spoiled baby. These two were arguing because they are his spoiled babies.
They probably are.
Him, I spoil my bees all the time.
Every day.
Bee goes home with someone. No, you will pet me.
Do it.
Trying not to be distracted from the topic at hand, I sit forward. Can I ask how people found out?
It would be fairly obvious if anyone were to see me eating.
Of course, with Nyargh's many mouths, any sign of a frown or grimace would probably be pretty evident. So if he eats salt, he's immediately just like, blah.
Yeah.
Which is why I always eat in private, of course. But an impatient customer once barged into the store during my break. I must have forgotten to lock the door. He promptly saw me struggling with my salt and asked if something was wrong.
Oh, and asked if something was wrong, yeah.
I'm sure he meant well, but I was startled
and handled.
Yeah, I was startled.
I was startled
and handled the situation poorly. I said the salt had gone bad, but he took a taste and quickly assessed that the salt was fine. He must have been able to guess that it was deeper, a more fundamental issue that I had with salt.
See, he does eat it. It's just he prefers not to, so I bet he only eats as much as he needs to and no more.
Ugh, I'm
Poor
so
thing.
sorry.
That's like somebody who's like basically, God, if you don't like, it's sort of like if you don't like the taste of water and there's no flavored drinks where you live. You have to drink it. You
I
know?
know that people go, there's no taste to water, and I'm like,
Oh my
fuck you.
God.
Of course there is.
Water tastes like so much, and especially water in different places. Every time I travel, I'm just like,
Ooh.
the water, different.
Oh, yeah,
and I don't
absolutely.
even mean like big travel, you know, just anything.
Yeah.
All right. A rumor of it spread quickly afterward. I know him. He was not a malicious person, but secrets can rarely remain secrets for long. He must have blurted it out to someone as something interesting he'd recently found out. So they none of them like salt.
Oh.
He sighs again, but this time he remembers to keep petting the bee. It continues to vibrate, perfectly oblivious to its master's exasperations. The bees are so cute.
I love the bees.
I, however, can't claim to be so ignorant, and so I deliberate over how to respond. Sympathize with the situation, condemn the person, propose a solution, ask how it feels.
Ask how he feels.
Yes, thank you. Ask how he feels.
Oh.
That's so many. I don't know. Also, this is the longest we've just spent with anyone
I
that
know.
hasn't been like a love scene, and I kind of love it. Like, it's fascinating.
It's very cute.
All right.
I kind of want to do a couple of them at once, like sympathize and ask how he feels. But I guess that leads to ask how he feels.
Yeah.
I don't know if I want to propose a solution because I don't think I'm connected enough to it.
I'm also just like asking how he feels sounds very therapist.
It does.
So how does that make you feel?
On the other hand, it can be like,
And that's
what's
not
the
a bad
experience like?
Yeah.
You know? But yeah, it's the levels. Okay, I don't know. I think we're feeling a little bit uncomfortable. So as much as I want to ask how he feels, I feel like it would be sympathize. Because there's been a couple of situations in the past where it's like, I don't really know what this is like. And even Bill has said, you know, I don't know much about this thing, especially with like Eastel's job and stuff. So I sympathize.
Sure, let's try sympathize.
Yep. First and foremost, I want to sympathize with his plight. I'm sorry. That must have been really tough. Disliking salt is such a small and harmless thing, but I guess once it became a rumor, it grew out of control. Nyargh gives a quiet grunt, lips pressed together thinly. He seems to ruminate over his thoughts for a long moment before he gives a subtle nod.
It wasn't a good situation, I will admit.
I also like that he admits that he handled it poorly, going, I panicked and I didn't know how to explain my experience.
But it wasn't devastating either.
It's something I could take into stride and move on. I missed the from.
I also know that the rumor is just a rumor, and not everyone believes it. And it helps that there are people like you, who steadfastly ignore the rumors and believe in me. I'm always grateful for your thoughtfulness, Bill, though I've probably been bad at expressing it.
Aw,
Thank you.
I feel oddly flustered, feeling my cheeks warm as I shake my head. I didn't do anything that deserves thanks. It's just that you're a good friend, and I trust you. I care about how you feel. Almost imperceptibly, Nyargh smiles, the flesh around his mouth crinkling subtly as his lips quirk. Silence hangs in the air for a moment before Nyargh looks up out the window. The skies are almost completely dark outside, save the flickering pinpoints of light from other homes nearby. I would probably go, yeah.
It's growing quite late, now that I think about it. I might have kept you a bit long. Sorry, it was mostly me talking about myself.
Aw, you don't have anything to apologize for. I hurry to respond, even as I start getting to my feet. I'm really glad I got to know you better.
You're kind to say that to someone so boring.
I'm just a fuddy-duddy who keeps bees in an immaculate house, and you know,
I'm a
makes
cottagecore
tea.
gay.
I'm just a boring cottagecore gay.
It's so cute.
And you're like, no, you're not. It's okay. You're not boring at all, Nyargh. I mean it. Nyargh gives a short laugh. It's a louder noise than I expected, and both bees are alerted by it, hopping to the floor and starting to bumble around in circles.
You really are interesting, Bill. I'm glad to have you as a friend.
And with that, he scoops up both bees, one tentacle for each, firmly holding them to his side so they don't try to wriggle away, before reaching out to pull aside the curtain of beads.
Let me see you out.
He's very careful about making sure his bees are comfortable and safe, and about locking up the store as he exits. Wait a second, this isn't like living quarters, this is literally just like his own space while he's here?
I don't know, it could be.
Because as he exits, so he's going to lock up the store and go home. I wonder.
Or he lives there. Like it's just a storefront to his house, you know, basically, or his living area.
I don't know. You don't need to walk me home, you know? Oh, but he's gonna walk us home.
Oh.
Okay, he locks the shop because he's gonna walk us home. Okay, that's cute.
Of course, but I would like to. You were my guest, and I appreciated your company. Making sure you get home safely is the right thing to do.
Nyargh says it with a straight face, in a very matter-of-fact way, but his words still send a warm glow diffusing through my chest.
Wow.
Well,
This is the most
then I
anime.
won't decline. It's really cute.
It's very
Like,
cute.
I love the idea that this hits so many of like your traditional anime romance beats, but it looks like this. It's so great.
It's so good.
Thank you. Two of his tendrils engage
The keratin lock.
engage the keratin lock as a third tugs at the door, making sure it's firmly in place. Shall we get going? That's so cute. We walk, mostly in silence. The streets aren't usually quite this empty. I'm just imagining his walk cycle with these tentacles. Blah, 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 blah. Like, imagine it was like a video game character just doing this sort of cycling tentacle roll. I just love it.
Be so
Blah,
good.
blah, 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 blah. It's sort of like a jellyfish trying to walk, you know? I love it. The streets aren't usually quite this empty at this time in the evening, but it seems a lot of people are resting up for the eclipse. Either that or they're busy formulating plans and preparing to make their big decisions. All around us, we can hear the murmur of people speaking in their homes, the tap-tap of people fidgeting with objects, and the muffled sound of footsteps. But we don't see anyone else, save a stray figure passing by here and there. It's peaceful. When I look up at our two moons, their tranquility seems everlasting. It almost makes it hard to believe the eclipse will really happen. We stayed out late. We've never stayed up late before. This
We
is
really
so
haven't.
different. Still, no real plans for the eclipse? There's a pause before Nyargh slowly shakes his head. All of his head. Me neither. Are we going to ask? But I do hope the day goes smoothly for both of us.
Of course. I also hope the same.
And then we go home. That's so cute. You walked us home.
Wow.
When I get back to my place, I just grab a salt packet and collapse on my bed. I usually don't eat in bed, but I'm too tired to care today. Okay, this is their generic fall into bed that night. And you know what? It's funny, because while we are that tired, since he fed us so much, I don't think we should be grabbing the salt packet. Unless it's,
Depending on like how big they were, like you could still be hungry.
it's true, we could be, with the salt biscuits and stuff. I roll over on my back and unwrap the fabric and drowsily bite off a small mouthful of salt. The familiar sting spreads through my mouth, hot and sharp, and I try not to think about it as I let it dissolve on my tongue. Even eating feels exhausting. I turn my head to glance towards my window. Past the closed curtains, I can see a sliver of the night sky, two moons lazily traversing the dark expanse. Though I bring the salt to my mouth for a second bite, I find that I just can't be bothered. I'll eat in the morning. I do the bare minimum to wrap the salt back up so it won't scatter over my bed during the night, but that's the absolute limit of my energy for the night. Even knowing I have to get up to clean up before falling asleep, my limbs feel so laden, and I find myself drifting off.
Yeah.
But even as sleep begins to overtake me, I find myself thinking over the events of the day. A small shiver of nervous anticipation races down my spine, all the way to my toes, prompting me to wrap my blanket closer around my body.
Get comfy.
So much for a quiet eclipse. Tomorrow will probably be a very important day.
Oh.
I jerk awake to the sound of my alarm beetle buzzing.
Yes.
This is so cute. Why are all of these roots so adorable? I immediately close my eyes and roll back over, burying my face into my pillow. The desire to go back to sleep is tremendous, which is pretty unusual. I almost never have trouble waking up in the morning, but my limbs still hurt a little bit after all that sprinting yesterday. My thoughts drift to the time I'd spent at Nyargh's place, to the incredible warmth and intimacy in that atmosphere, and the thought gently rouses me. I gingerly rub my face before sitting up. I sit up in bed, scuffing a hand over my face and picking off the pus that's dried over my eye during the night. A cursory check of the time tells me I'm not too late, but I should move quickly if I want to be on time, so I do. And I try very hard not to think about the eclipse. I'll have the time to spare for that once I'm actually on my route. Huh? Here he is.
I told you, take the day off.
I made it on time to work, squeezing past some loitering crowds in the streets, jogging the last stretch of the way to the salt plant, only to find the place quieter than usual, though there was still the familiar rustle of salt pouring into filters, the scrape of long poles mixing through vats, and the glob of honey being emptied by the bucket. There were fewer workers than usual. The boss seemed a little less hairy than usual, too. and when he beckoned me over, he sprang that surprise on me.
Delivery roster today's short.
He has the delivery list in hand, and he flips through the pages, swiftly double-checking each one with a stubby pencil.
Turns out a lot of people asked to have their delivery for today put on hold, heading out of town because of the eclipse, I imagine, or have plans of some sort. Whatever the reason, we barely have half the usual number of deliveries.
He scratches at the scales on his snout with the back end of his pencil.
Felt silly making you run all your routes, so I reorganized the routes. And a few of you have barely taken any days off, so I'm giving you today to rest. Go enjoy the eclipse.
I automatically give a dip of the head in thanks, but it still hasn't properly sunk in. I build my daily schedule around my work, and suddenly, being told that I have the whole day to myself is jarring. Actually, I wanted to mention there for a second where he's like, I've noticed that some of you barely take any days off, so I'm giving you those days to rest. Having worked in manufacturing, I've actually been a part of that experience of going, when a holiday comes around, you encourage the people who haven't used their regular time off to use it around the holiday and take a longer break or something like that. And unfortunately, I've also seen a lot of people get really annoyed about it if they're the type that, normally do take a lot more days off, going, well, how come you're trying to help them get time off? And God, you're just so lucky you can just take so much time off. And it's like, they're the people that literally haven't been using it. And since it stacks up and, is recorded, it makes sense. But there's also a level of, because of the cultural importance of various holidays, it still feels unfair.
Yeah.
And so I've never known how to feel about it when someone else is like, but my family's doing this, great big thing and I really wanted to do it, but I don't have any time off.
Right.
It's one of those frustrating things about, sort of capitalism, if you will, but also about the demands of manufacturing.
So again, how much do you want to go through some of this?
I think because we have to get the paper from him. So that's what I'm waiting for.
Okay.
The boss seems to notice my hesitation and gives me a hard clap on the back. Even if he meant it playfully, he's a strong guy, and that casual whack is almost enough to bowl me over. He laughs as I wheeze.
Go on, get. You're young. Go do something fun. You deserve it.
You're sure there isn't anything I should be doing? Chases us out.
You doubting me?
Kicks us in the rear.
Bunk.
No, sir. The thought of leaving the salt plant so early in the day, and empty-handed at that, is almost off-putting. I can't remember the last time I took a day off so suddenly. This job is just habit to me. And I stand in place, watching the rest of the plant for a few moments. Lost.
What are you waiting for?
Oh, nothing. Boots you again. The boss huffs out a sigh, and it makes his mask puff out.
Go do something nice, kid. Special day and all. Isn't there anyone you want to spend the eclipse with?
For some reason, my thoughts immediately go to Nyargh. He's at the store as usual, I assume, tending to his bees. Maybe I should pay him a visit. Oh, we just decided our own.
Yeah.
And it does feel like there is this light interest in Bill from the very beginning, interestingly enough.
Right.
I will. So he doesn't summon us. I like that. We actually just decide. I wonder why I didn't think of that sooner. Even if I'm not a big believer in the eclipse as a pivotal day in one's life, it's still a special day. It would be nice to spend the day doing something relaxing, and I can think of a few places nicer than Nyargh's store. The boss seems ready to turn his attention back to his work, but he looks up promptly when I call out to him. Hey, boss. And this is, what are you doing?
Yeah?
What are you going to be doing during the eclipse? I think we can skip through this part because we've already hit his
mass
story.
training.
Let's see. Mercury salt. Mercury salt. Yes.
That's right.
Gin.
Thought it was extravagant.
Yep.
And we head out.
Good day.
I wish the boss a good day and leave soon afterwards. The boss is still freaking adorable.
I love the boss.
I don't want to delay him any further when there's still work to do. Hopefully, he and everyone else at the plant will be able to finish up quickly and enjoy the rest of their days. Though, I do still feel some guilt about taking off by myself when everyone else is working so hard. I also don't want to waste the time that was kindly given to me. Standing out in the streets, I watch people go by for a few minutes. It's actually not as crowded as I feared it would be. No doubt, a lot of people are traveling or are already holed up with people important to them. Far down the street, I can see what looks like a small brawl. I guess that might be something important to the people involved. But I do hope it doesn't last too long. It'd be awful to spend the eclipse day in a salt bath. Tugging my cloak closer around myself, I inhale deeply. The air feels electric, stinging at my nose. Do we have to go by the fight too?
Maybe.
All right.
I guess I should get moving. The streets are abuzz with activity as I head toward Nyargh's store. The area near the store is always moderately populated, of course, but everything feels different today. People are clustering in groups, many talking amongst themselves instead of bustling in and out of stores. Many establishments, too, seem to have given up on operating in their usual fashion, instead shutting down completely, or flinging their doors open to throw portions of their product out to the jittery crowd. That's great, being like, I have surplus and today is the day to give it away. A store selling blood samples flings its door open just as I'm passing by, and I'm almost knocked down by the crowd that rushes in. I manage to duck out of the way, just before the proprietor begins lobbing small bladders of blood out of the door. Some burst open upon impact, splashing people with sprays of pungent red. I wonder if there are people who collect rain and that's part of their job. A delicious smell begins to fill the air. The crowd cheers as the storekeeper announces, "This is but a minuscule sample of the very rare stock we've procured today for your very special day. Earth whale blood. Oh, it's not rain. They did hunt the earth whale. Yes. Still warm, brought fresh from the city across the desert. Shortly we will begin an auction for this incredibly valuable stock. Truly an item worth procuring for the celebration of an eclipse, but also giving bunches of it away."
Oh, yeah.
Part of me is curious, of course. My mouth is watering slightly from the smell in the air. But this is not where I should be. And the auction of rare blood samples, though interesting, is not something I want to spend too much time on. Not today. I step out of the way of several more people run past me, eager to join the crowd that's growing before the blood store's entrance, and turn the corner. The sweet scent of honey immediately washes over me. It's a softer, gentler scent than the immediate metallic tang of blood, but it's one that's stronger, slowly seeping past the sharp taste in the air and enveloping me softly.
You made it!
Hello! You did make it. Well, welcome aboard.
You have missed our whole time of discovering
that Nyargh is a
cottagecore gay.
Yeah, like his house is adorable, and he really does keep his bees like cats, and he makes the most amazing homemade tea, and just it's beautiful. But we're headed back to his place now.
Yes, you haven't missed the eclipse day.
Yes.
So I don't know how far we're going to get into it though, because we are going to run out of time.
We'll see if we can get there.
Yes.
All right. But it's one that's stronger. Oh, sorry. There's something deeply comforting about the smell. Rather like Nyargh's presence, I think.
Yay, people.
Behind me, I can still hear shouts and cheers, but I pay them no mind, and instead approach the door to Nyargh's store. Will open later. Oh, that's his handwriting.
Beautiful handwriting, I love
Lovely.
it.
A handwritten sign leached onto the curtain-covered window stops me in my tracks. In all the time I've delivered to Nyargh's store, I've never once seen him fail to open his store at the usual time. My first thought is that he's decided to take the day off for some reason. Justified rest and relaxation. But the sign says later, as opposed to tomorrow. The rowdiness of the crowd behind me sends a small prickle of worry racing down my spine, and I uneasily rap at the window. Nyargh, are you there by any chance? I dearly hope nothing's happened to him. And within moments, I hear the muffled sounds of movement past the door, followed shortly by the click of the keratin lock's horn sliding back into its casing. Vil? The door opens a crack, just enough that I can see Nyargh's mouths, murmuring my name. His voice is quiet. I was having a me day, but since I'm such a hard worker, it was a half day.
Right.
Oh, sorry to bother you. I was just surprised. I don't think I've ever seen the store closed at this time. Is everything all right?
Yes, everything's fine.
Thank you for worrying. It's certainly an unusual situation, but Nyargh's tone of voice is calm and unruffled. Maybe I worried over nothing. So I nod and decide to give Nyargh a parting greeting before I leave. A parting greeting? Say you'll drop by later. Tell him not to do anything too strange. Ask him to get in touch if anything comes up. I think we'd just like to drop by later.
Sure.
Like, I think that's what our motivation is, and we'd just like to drop by later.
Yeah, let's drop by later.
We're gonna do it, we'll drop by later.
We drop by later.
If he plans on opening the store later, then just dropping by might be best. Well, I'll head off for now then. But I'll drop by later when you open the store.
No, you're fine.
No.
You haven't missed it. This is Eclipse Day.
Yeah, I was just saying, the thing is
You missed the introduction.
You missed us
too.
getting to know each other a little bit better, and it was really, really cute. And we also learned why there's rumors about Nyargh. It's that he doesn't like the taste of salt.
Yes.
Which is, the life food of everyone. Vil compared it to not liking breathing, basically. Anyway, we're sorry you missed it, but again, it's recorded. We're going to put it up on our YouTube channel. You can totally check it out there.
Yes.
I'm going to cut it so that it's his route is one video on its own if you don't want to see us totally do the do with Breton, because we did.
We did a do with Breton.
It was the edgiest of the PG-13. Anyway, we support you. We're glad you're here. We're sorry you missed something you wanted to see.
Yes.
Right. When you open the store, not for any specific business, but it would be nice to spend some time with you today, if you don't mind. Is it a date? Can we have a date?
Can we have a date?
Date? I grin, and Nyargh gives another small nod. That would be nice. Aye. And with that said, I turn to leave.
Vil, wait.
Nyargh's voice remains somewhat quiet, but there's a firmness to it that easily cuts through the disturbance, hubbub on the streets.
The distance hubbub. Whoops.
The distant. Oh,
Distant,
thank you. The
yeah.
distant hubbub on the streets. I stop in my tracks and look back to it. Yes?
Yeah.
Yes?
Mhm.
I'm paying it. Yes?
Actually.
He's quiet for a moment longer before continuing. It has now sunk in that you came to see me on this most auspicious day of your own volition, and if you aren't terribly busy, would you like to come in? Him, hesitating. The streets seem busy, so maybe it would be best for you to wait inside until that crowd disperses a little. He must have caught sight of the crowd past my shoulder. People are still pushing their way to the front of the crowd before the blood sample store, shouting out bids for the treasured container of earth whale blood. Admittedly, I don't look forward to waiting through that crowd. Right, he's in a small alley or something. The store is completely empty and quiet. He's also super adorable with his bees, and it really is. They're like lap animals, and he just pets them, and it's very cute.
It is pretty impressive.
Nyargh's establishment is so popular that I've never seen it without at least a few customers, except yesterday. It's an odd feeling, standing in the store, surrounded by the peaceful hum of drowsy bees and the gentle scent of honey, without the usual presence of people wandering around, looking at the wares. I called the bees wares.
Where's bees?
Thanks for letting me in.
Of course.
Don't mention it. You seem distracted. You okay?
Sorry, no, I was watching your phone glitched.
Oh.
And I saw a notification in the corner. Sorry, there was something about dropped frames, so I panicked for 2 seconds, going, "How does it look?"
I think we're okay. I don't know.
Hope so.
Mine's not actually watching us anyway, unfortunately, because it keeps going.
Freaking out. Okay.
Yeah.
Then I am mistaken. Don't worry.
Yeah, it keeps going.
Yep, the video did cut out. I knew it.
Okay, thank you. So, hold on a second while I see if I can get back to it.
How's it going?
I'm trying to find our, it actually, looks like it actually cut it.
Oh.
I'm not sure.
Hello? Why it cut?
Well, hold on a second.
Is
it says we're not live, according to my internet.
No. I mean, mine says...
Now we're live again. Okay. It just did blip for a second. Here we go.
Hello? Are we still? Yeah, we're here now.
Okay. So yeah, we did. We totally everything cut out. Hi. I have no idea. All right.
Hi.
Of course. Don't mention it.
Good catch, by the way, friend.
Sorry. It popped up in the corner of the screen, and I went, It usually never complains about that, so that made me nervous.
Yeah. Also, I'm still not getting a live feed from us because my internet is balls.
Which one are you hooked on to?
I'm not, so I'm gonna hook up to the Wi-Fi because I just forgot to.
I support you.
And so I can't detect anything. Since our setup is so flimsy as it is, we try and monitor it every way we can to see how it's working. Yeah, there we go. Now I can detect us. Now streaming. Yay! We may exist.
Perhaps?
Okay.
Perhaps.
Let's see. I hear you. Yay, we are heard.
Okay.
Of course. Don't mention it.
A good number of cage doors are open. Some bees remain in their homes, cleaning themselves or sleeping. Others wander about the store, waddling around the floor and inspecting their surroundings. One bumps into my leg, and I pick it up. It might be the same bee from the other night. Last night? Are the bees supposed to be wandering around right now? He also lets them out of their cage at night.
It's so
cute.
good.
I let them walk around in the mornings before I open up. It keeps them calmer during the day if they get some of the energy out of their systems earlier.
Yes, you only using the kennels when necessary. It's true. You know what? We will help you, okay?
Like truly, I support you in your Nyargh.
Yes. I see.
Aw.
Bees. I carry the bee with me as I continue looking around the store,
Hooray!
letting
Sing
it chew on a fold of my cloak.
Oh, that's
Yay.
cute. They're really like cat dogs.
These are not normal bees. They are adorable and
They're
wonderful.
very cute.
They're cute. The atmosphere of the store might feel a little different without any guests, but it also feels very familiar and comforting. The calm air, the well-used furniture, the clean floor. Nyargh, meanwhile, is seated by the counter with a tiny paper portion of salt. Oh, poor thing.
Baby.
You're going to have to eat it. Fluffy cat dog bees. Yes,
Oh
they are.
no.
Oh, look at this. That's the CG. Oh my goodness.
Hold on, we're gonna
Look
hide the text.
at him holding the one bee and the other bee. I beg. No, you don't
No.
eat the salt. No, I beg. No, do not eat the salt. I beg.
beg.
And
I
lots
beg.
of salt is bad for you. Stop it.
Quick.
He's a good bee parent.
Yeah.
Aye.
Bee print.
A bee print.
Bee print.
I did beepers. He's got so many beepers.
Poor
Right.
him.
It's the tiniest portion of salt I've ever seen. It looks like an eighth of a block, maybe. Possibly less. My first instinct is to look away, in case Nyargh doesn't want to be seen eating. But I can't help pondering curiously for a moment.
Yes, beepers.
Beepers,
We've
yes.
had so many beepers. It's been excellent.
The most beepers. He keeps
Like-
all the beepers.
Oh God, you will die. Like, I don't even know. Part of me is just like, I feel like I want to go back and read it to you, but it was so good.
It was super cute.
It was so cute, hanging out in his cute little cottagecore. There's vines everywhere, and he's got bees hanging around.
And again,
he's
and he
just
makes
petting them.
homemade tea and has a bee in his, what you might consider to be a lap.
It's so cute.
It's great. Nyargh.
I know, he's so cute.
Yes.
He's like this strange, like rich, like sort of like distant person. It's so
He is
funny.
that adorable, shy, I consider myself boring bachelor because all I do is, clean house, keep bees, and make tea.
He's a bee husband.
He's adorable. Nyargh must have caught me staring because he nudges the minuscule portion of salt with the tip of a tentacle. You caught me in the middle of my breakfast, you see. I knew he was busy with something. Yes, bee husband, you bet. Okay, I'm calm.
You are so calm. No,
bee
like,
husband, the calmest, holds up a flag. Woo, bee husband!
bee husband. It's so good.
Oh, sorry. Should I wait over there? At the back of the store? Would you like privacy?
Hi.
At the back of the store?
There's no need. I won't be much longer.
Bee.
Hi. Huh. I decide to turn away, absently stroking the bee in my arms. But I can't help notice that, despite what he said, Nyargh doesn't eat anymore. There's no rustling of crumbling salt particles, no crunching between teeth. When I glance over, the tiny salt pile hasn't changed at all, and Nyargh seems to be staring out the window, mouth slightly open, as if in deep thought. The thought occurs to me that perhaps he invited me into the store for a reason. What should I say, though? Ask if he's feeling alright. Ask if he's planning on eating you. I think that would be a joke. Ask if there's something on his mind. Ask if there's a reason he let you in. Let's ask if there's something on his mind. He seems like he's thinking.
Yeah. Let's ask.
Yeah.
Something on his mind.
The conversation from the previous night still feels fresh in my mind. I wonder if there's something on his mind.
The conversation with the previous night still feels still fresh.
Oh.
Yeah, no, that's
Still fresh in my... Sorry, different cadence.
Yeah.
The conversation from the previous night still fresh in my mind.
Mhm.
I wonder if there's something on his mind. Nyargh, is there something bothering you? It seems his mind was elsewhere. There's a pause before he realizes what I said.
This and that, I suppose. It's nothing to worry about.
He doesn't manage to sound entirely convincing, but I also don't want to press him too hard.
Not too hard.
Not too hard. Gentle press. Well, all right. If you're sure.
But what made you think so?
Well, it's not a big deal, but I've just noticed you weren't eating. I wasn't sure if maybe you were bothered by something. Nyargh doesn't answer. Instead, there's the gentle rustling sound of him pushing a crumbling piece of salt around its paper container. Like somebody just wandering stuff around their plate that they're supposed to eat, but they don't want to.
Uh-huh.
It falls apart, sandy particles of salt scuffing about the smooth paper beneath his touch.
It's nothing to worry about. I just don't have much of an appetite at the moment, I suppose. All of the noise and energy outside has thrown me off my rhythm somewhat. I don't eat a large amount in the first place, so it isn't anything to worry about.
I see. I glance outside the window. There's only a small gap in the curtains, so it's hard to make out the entirety of the blood sample store, but from the way people are still clamoring out on the street, eyes directed towards that storefront and shouting, it's easy to tell the auction is still ongoing. It's easy to understand how the constant bustle might cause Nyargh a good deal of stress. That's understandable. But I do hope it all dies down before long. You always work hard, so you need to be extra careful about taking care of yourself. Just like me, but I don't take very good care of myself. But
Right.
that's okay. And what would your bees do if you got sick? That's cute.
Oh.
I smile as I hold up the bee in my arms. See this adorable baby? What would happen if you weren't amazing?
Look at the floof.
It wriggles its legs in the air, wings fluttering in indignity as it casts about. Evidently, this one doesn't like being held up in that fashion, so I quickly go back to cradling it in my elbow. It briefly gnaws on my finger in retaliation. No, before settling back down, holds it in a football hold.
Yeah, pretty much.
So maybe don't push yourself too hard, but just make sure to eat enough to keep you going. Nyargh regards me in silence for a long moment. I get the distinct feeling that he's about to say something, that something very important is at the tip of his tongue. Nyargh? A tingle of worry creeps into my voice, and the music is gone.
It's just gone.
And I draw a step closer to the counter. I'd kept a little distance, wanting to keep from crowding him as he ate, but I feel like it's no longer the time for that. It feels like I need to be closer to Nyargh right now, to unravel what it is that has him so distracted today. Are you sure you're all right?
Bill?
Yes. I find myself standing up a little straighter. There's a distinct edge to Nyargh's voice, almost like he sounds angry, and it catches me completely off guard. So what he says next is completely unexpected.
I'm sorry. I lied to you.
It's not the salt, is it?
I lied to you indirectly when I said my dislike of salt is the only reason the rumors about me exist.
I see. The sudden confession is admittedly kind of worrying, but the worry is not just for myself. In the time I've known him, Nyargh has always been quite quiet, but frank and considerate, never the type to lie just for personal gain. There must have been a significant reason for him to have lied to me. A significant for him to have lied to me. It was a significant. A single significant for him. As if sensing the sudden tension in the air, the bee I'd been holding starts to squirm, its wings flapping against my arms. I crouch down to watch it skitter away, joining a few of its friends where they sit together, near a heating vent, and bask in the warm air. Does he also eat bees?
I don't know.
All right. Thank you for telling me. I look up at Nyargh, choosing each word carefully. Then, if it's all right with you, could you tell me the real reason the rumors exist? Nyargh remains quiet. An uncomfortable silence settles over both of us, weighing down on us. Then he moves towards the window. As he approaches it, he reaches out a tentacle to pull the curtain completely shut. The interior of the store is a little darker without that little gap. But his tentacle lingers afterwards, touching briefly against the glass through the curtain before withdrawing.
In truth, Bill.
When he does speak up, his voice is quiet, almost enough to be drowned out by the commotion outside. As if realizing that, he moves back away from the window and towards the counter, where his salt remains forgotten. I follow suit, getting to my feet and drawing close to better listen to him. It's just in time to hear him continue.
In truth, Bill, I am a manner of parasite. I don't devour people, it's nothing of that sort. But I do get my sustenance from other people.
Oh.
I only need a tiny amount of salt as a supplement to keep my body healthy, but I could survive for weeks without any salt. I am very different from you and from almost everyone else.
Someone who doesn't need salt? I've never even heard of it before. He does say they're rather uncommon, his particular species.
Mm-hmm.
I can't help staring, and it takes me a long moment to drop my gaze down to the tiny amount of salt sitting on the counter. No wonder Nyargh got so few deliveries compared to most orders others his size. I see. That's pretty incredible. But then, if you don't need salt, what do you live off of? Especially since you say you're a parasite.
Energy.
Oh, he's an energy vampire?
That could work.
Energy?
I think Draconishi is correct. We are going to have tentacle hentai.
It sounds a whoa. Whoa. Energy. Nyargh nods, as if confirming something very mundane, like the price of one of his products or the weather outside. But in contrast to his steadfast demeanor, his voice remains quiet and tense. I can tell he's told very few, if any other people about this, and it spurs me to focus all the more on his very important confession. Cough, cough.
Yes.
Indeed.
I
Here we go.
appreciate your error of writing couch, though.
It's
pretty
okay.
cool.
I love the couch. It was great. Couch. I go to the couch quickly. Oh.
Mm-hmm.
When people are excited or ecstatic, they expend a small amount of energy in the air. It's similar to how the body produces heat. That energy lingers in the air, and I inhale it to absorb it back into my body.
So yesterday he was overloaded with so much energy.
Going,
Whoa.
Me and my kind. I'm sure there are many others who are similar to us at first glance, but we're unique in that aspect. We have many mouths to better comb the atmosphere for that energy, and the core of our bodies is made to effectively absorb that energy like water.
Wow.
Death.
You can die all you want. It's fine.
It's fine.
I support
Alright,
you.
we killed
because-
Palm in the last one. It's fine.
It's fine. Palm was totally dead. It was great. I think Palm is actually so dead they might have gone to sleep, which is completely
no.
fine.
And so, I live off of others. A parasite.
But an indirect parasite.
Yeah, no kidding.
That doesn't sound quite right. Sounds like you are now selling yourself short, like we were selling ourselves short.
Mm-hmm.
That decisive response slips from my mouth before I could stop myself. Nyargh turns towards me, silently demanding that I continue, and I feel vaguely embarrassed. My face feels a little hot as I scuff a hand through my hair, gingerly pulling strands away from where they've stuck to the pus on my face. I mean, I've known parasitic species. Admittedly, not a lot of them, but they always need something more directly from their hosts, don't they? Whether it's blood or hair or chitin. I know parasites can have a bad reputation if they're selfish, but most will compensate the host in some way. So I don't think parasites are in the wrong either. They're just doing what they have to survive. But regardless, what you're saying sounds different.
Yeah,
it's
it
not
really
something
does.
you have to take from people. It's something they're giving off anyway. More like a flower absorbing the sun, you know?
Mm-hmm.
It's harmless, isn't it?
Is it, Vil?
Nyargh shakes his head gently. The lax way his tendrils rest upon the countertop seems oddly melancholy, and I reach out to rest my hand on one. If he notices the gesture, Nyargh doesn't show it, only continuing quietly.
I thought the same when I was younger, but I'm afraid it's not so simple. Because I require people to be excited or happy in order to sustain myself, my motives are always questioned. If people know that I benefit from their happiness, then they'll often question my reason for doing anything.
Oh, wow. That's sort of like our sort of conflict in reference to the salt bath kind of thing of going, it's someone being punished, and that's not, a great thing.
Right.
But then going, it just makes me hungry. And punishment salt doesn't exist unless people are doing things wrong and getting punished.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a conflict of interest.
Yep.
And here, if it's going, I need people to feel really good, or they don't let off the kind of energy I need, then am I being kind and good to them for my own purposes or not? What a great moral conflict. I mean, I feel for him, but that's fascinating.
Trusted friends are different, of course.
Those who know me well.
Knows me well.
Knows me well.
Knows me well.
Know that sustenance is not so high up on my list of priorities.
But I can't expect every stranger, every customer, every acquaintance to know me to the same degree.
And if someone hears that, they could be very uncomfortable by it.
It's true.
I could see that.
Every person who came to know about about this trait of mine questioned whether I actually cared for their well-being and
their well-being
and happiness, or if I was simply hungry and wanted to benefit from their happiness.
Oh.
Take this store, for instance. It would be dishonest for me to say I don't benefit from the joy people get upon entering a bee store and bathing in the scents. Their delight fills me in a way you can't imagine. I've almost never gone hungry since this store started doing well.
But before that, he had food insecurity because he ate a complicated food.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I don't run this store just to fill my belly. If I were to change by some magic and suddenly need to eat salt like everyone else, I would still keep this store open until my death. I've loved bees since I was younger, and it has always been my dream to spread that love to other people.
See, he does love the bees, and it clearly shows in his character. I love it.
He loved the bees.
Aw, and he is conflicted about it, and that's so cute. And I feel for him. That is rough. And at the same time, it also feels like an interesting metaphor for capitalism. Of going, I want to do something nice for you, but something nice for you may benefit me in the long run. Sort of like networking with people,
Right.
Where there can be a thing of going, I network with people so that, we can be connected. But also it may give me resources which may help me in capitalism, so what is my motivation?
Right.
And I've had people question that before, and I often felt very conflicted. People going, just network. Oh, well, they can get something from you too. And I go, but if what I offer them isn't as beneficial as what they offer me, it doesn't feel fair,
Right.
Pardon me.
Oh, goodness. Still having coffee. Sorry.
So, to have that dream of mine be shadowed by doubt.
He inhales deeply, sucking in the air in past 2 mouthfuls of gritted teeth. Other mouths have their lips pulled thin, and I can sense an undercurrent of frustration in his core. I gently rub at his tentacle, wanting to calm him down, and he finally seems to notice. A pat. The comfort motions.
The comfort tentacle. Wait.
Oh dear. He rests one of his other tentacles on my hand, and it seems to calm him down.
I moved far away from my hometown as soon as I was able, and settled down here. I took care not to let anyone know of my nature, and thus I was able to cultivate this store and watch everyone be happy with my bees and honey.
He's like, I have always loved bees. He's a bee nerd. Bee nerd is so cottagecore.
He's so good.
I regret nothing.
Poor baby. Yes, you can have the woo.
Mm-hmm.
Woo.
Ooh. Nyargh's voice peters off with a long exhale. I need a few moments to digest this information. It's a lot. It explains a lot. I'd always thought Nyargh was a rather secretive person, but it makes sense he would keep to himself if he wanted to protect this secret. I can see why people might treat him differently after finding out about this secret. They might not be cruel, but their treatment of him would be different, at the very least. They might be distant.
Yeah, bee nerd cottagecore husband. Oh my
Yes.
god. Yeah,
Yes, he is.
He is a sweet baby.
Yeah, I'm like, he is a catch.
He made us tea and he made us biscuit and it was so good.
He did.
And
He
it was
also
all covered in honey.
And we passed out on his couch. We were so comfy in the sunshine in his face.
With
It
bee
was
babies.
adorable.
It was
With
not
bees.
babies, but they were just bees.
you know, like cat babies, bee babies.
Yeah,
he just
bee
cuddled
babies.
up on us. It was adorable. It was the cutest thing ever.
It was great.
All right. It must have been hard. Nyargh gives the smallest of nods, mouths closed. So I decide to make my move. I walk around the counter and embrace him. The hugs.
Oh, I hug you.
I hug.
Oh no. Yeah, I know you did miss it. It was so good. I'm so
It's so
sorry.
good. It's okay. Like I said, it will be there. But yes, I'm sorry you missed it. It was amazing, and we all did so many awoo faces. It was really adorable.
It was very sweet.
I walk around the counter and embrace him. I'm not tall enough to reach the core of his body. Us hugs all the tentacles.
Well,
Of course. Even if I stand on the tips of my claws and strain upwards.
He's
He
big.
He big. But at least I can wrap my arms around his tentacles and hold them close.
wow.
I'm sorry things have been rough for you, Nyargh. I like that there's also one where we get to make the move.
Mm-hmm.
Because, you know, in the varying things, you know, it adds a little variety.
Mm-hmm.
Eating is such a fundamental part of life. It's also something missing from a lot of dating games.
Yeah.
Where the protagonist never gets to make the move, they only get to, you know, basically respond to the move. So this is nice.
Right.
It must have been hard. Wanting not to distance people, but at the same time, needing to keep such a big secret. I get it now. How much you have had to work towards it. So, I really appreciate you telling me. It means a lot to me that you trust me with that information. I don't think of you any differently for it. Of course, I know you're kind to people regardless. And you've always been considerate towards me, in a way that I know isn't just to keep yourself full. I've always been happy to be around you. Sincerely. Thank you.
Oh.
A gentle touch slithers up my back as Nyargh's tentacles wind around my shoulders, my sides, my chest. Much hug.
Much hug. He gives
Holding
such
me
good
close.
hugs.
And many. Why I have so many tentacles? For so many hugs. I can feel every breath that heaves from the core of his body, tickling past my skin.
You need to read that.
Oh, sorry.
It's
Oh,
Nyargh.
wow. Pulling me close. I didn't realize you'd done the next thing.
Yep.
Nyargh's whole body smells faintly of honey, but also of his own naturally spicy scent, and it tickles my nose as I lean into the embrace. He's wonderfully warm to be this close to. I can feel every breath that heaves from the core of his body, tickling past my skin. I wonder if he breathes in, you know, with his mouth and breathes out through like an exit, like if he has a blowhole or something.
Or he just breathes out of the mouths too.
I know.
Have so many
I was just curious.
Spicy bee husband. Yes. I'm like, ooh, cinnamon. He's
Alright.
a cinnamon.
He is spicy.
He's a spicy.
I know. Thank you, Bill. I've been keeping this secret for so long, but for you, I knew you would still trust me. Grins.
This smiles.
Of course. Nothing could make me doubt you, Nyargh. You are too steadfast and
You are
reliable.
too great. I know. He's
That's
so
so
good.
cute.
He's so sweet.
We stay like that for a good few moments, and then Nyargh slowly withdraws his tentacles. Taking that as a signal, I disentangle. Okay, the one time disentangling from a hug makes so much sense.
I know.
I disentangle myself from his tendrils and step back. After that display of vulnerability, Nyargh seems uncharacteristically awkward, fidgeting with a tiny portion of salt still on the counter. It's up to me to break the silence. So, I guess you only need to eat that much salt today. Nyargh sighs, rubbing a tendril against a spot between two of his mouths. I love the Actually, I meant to eat this much to keep myself at peak condition, but with all the excitement and energy in the air, I'm unspeakably full. Poor thing. I feel like I might be sick if I had to eat this. So I'd be stalling when you showed up. Oh!
Baby
Everyone
queen.
was so excited. He's like, oof.
He's like, I'm a vom.
Whoa.
He's like, I am gonna hurl.
He's gonna hurl rainbows from everyone being excited and happy.
He's Choco secretly.
He's just gonna all the mouths blah, rainbows. In some ways, inviting you in was just an excuse to stall some more. I can't help but laugh. It's such an innocently childish action that it seems at odds with Nyargh's mature, calm demeanor. Nyargh huffs, as if embarrassed, wrapping the salt back up in its paper packet.
I know, he's so full. He's poor boy. He's very sad.
He's tough.
He's tough.
Oof, so full.
Oh.
Sorry, I didn't mean to laugh. I just didn't expect it from you. But I'm really glad it happened. I wouldn't have gotten to know you better like this otherwise. So I'm happy to have been your excuse. Nyargh nods, but the touch of warmer color in his flesh suggests he's also happy with the arrangement. I love that he can blush. It's so good.
He's so good.
Now then. Stepping out from behind the counter, Nyargh heads towards the window. I put down the bee I'd been holding, then follow him. It certainly doesn't look like the commotion outside is going to die down anytime soon. He's right. If anything, the crowds grow even larger. Someone is jostled by the crowd and stumbles into the window, and he at least shoots us an apologetic glance through the gap in the curtain before returning his attention to whatever's captivated the crowd. I suppose you could just try to run out past them. You're a quick runner. Are you on a tight schedule today? Actually, to be honest, I have today off. And I don't have any plans. It's gonna sink in that we came to see him on our day off with no plans.
Yes!
It's gonna be adorable. I just wanted to drop by and see how you were doing. I see. Long pause. That's very sweet of you. Nyargh reaches out a tentacle to pat me on the back. Then maybe it would be best for us to spend the day quietly, especially if we don't have any plans for the eclipse. Casually, we could just spend the eclipse together. With no plans, either of us.
No plans.
Neither of us had plans, so we'll have no plans.
None
together.
plans. Left tentacle.
What were you planning on doing today, before I got here? Clean the bee cages, mostly, and groom some of them, if I had the time. We are going to help. I see this.
Yes.
I can help, if you like.
Help the bees.
We're gonna help it. So eager to work, even on your day off.
I know, we've actually mentioned it, so in one of the previous episodes,
grooming.
there was a bee that actually Vil points out seems to be very fond of them because that they actually bathed the bee.
Because they had groomed them before.
It was so good.
So Vil has actually helped with the bees in other ways before, and it's very cute.
It's really sweet.
One mouth twists into a lopsided grin, another one baring its teeth in a rumbling laugh. Your diligence always astounds me. Well, I figure as long as I'm here, I should do something. And yesterday was fun. I don't mind the work. And if it's helpful to you, I want to do it. If you insist. Bee grooming! Come on. Let's start with cleaning the cages. Bees that don't want to get out of the cages. No, bzz, no, bzz. I will get you out. I'll clean under. Scoot. Cleaning the cages ends up taking up the entirety of the morning and a good portion of the afternoon. Enough that Nyargh decides to amend that that sign in the window, in the window, saying he's closed today. It's eclipse day after all. No need to feel bad about taking the day off. Once we're done cleaning,
The store's air.
the store's air feels bitingly fresh, the sharp scent of cleaning herbs stinging into the nose with each inhale. But it's soon tempered by the soothing aroma of bee pheromones and honey as Nyargh moves on to grooming several bees whose fur coats are growing unruly, fuzzy, tangled bees. The bees relax beneath the steady snip-snip of Nyargh's shears, drooling honey onto the grooming mat.
Aww.
That's adorable.
Wow.
I mostly watch as this work requires training and finesse that I don't have. It's wonderfully relaxing. Bees. Time goes by quickly, and before I even realize it, it's nearing the time of the eclipse. Nyargh has to point it out to me.
It grows awfully noisy outside.
Oh, you're right. I pull the curtains back just enough to take a peek outside. The crowd outside the blood sample store has dispersed, at least, but streets are noisier than ever. People mill about, holding hands and tugging each other along, pointing off in different directions. I need to press my ear against the glass to understand what's going on. Oh, the eclipse is soon. I think everyone's trying to find good places to watch it.
Ah, I see. Vil?
I let the curtain drop as I look back down. At the back of my mind,
Yeah.
I hope nobody saw that. I wouldn't want anyone to notice the store's occupied and barge in asking to be let up on the roof for a good view. If you don't have any other plans for the eclipse. He's so gentle about this, like indirect of just going, I continue to state my interest, but never in any like really overt way.
Right.
Would you like to watch it with me?
Of course. Nyargh might have expected me to hesitate from the way he worded it, but it's an easy answer for me to give. He really does think he's boring and scary.
Oh.
I am a combination between boring and unnerving, and you must question my motives at all times. I am not the desirable.
Well.
I'd love to watch it with you. Should we head up to the roof?
Wait just a moment.
Okay. Nyargh wants to prepare a few things first. Is he gonna bring some honey? Oh, there we go.
He is cooking husband.
He is the husband that will feed you and make you the food, and so cute. A small container of salt biscuits and another of tea.
Oh.
Because it wouldn't hurt to enjoy ourselves during this special occasion, he says.
Ah.
And once the preparations are made, we head up the ladder that leads to the roof of the store. Oh,
Background,
we get a
background.
different view. Look at that.
Background. Hang on. Whoops.
Hold on.
No.
Bye-bye. Hide text.
Hide text.
Boink. Look at that. It's a different view of the city.
That
That's great. Someone just drying their laundry out there. I love it. It's so good. You can't even see the watchtower from here.
You really can't.
That's amazing. And all the like flesh boiling and bubbling off of everything and dripping places. It's so good.
It looks so good. Okay.
The view from the roof is nice.
So nice.
There are higher buildings around, of course, as well as ones with tall spires. The view from those high places must be fabulous, I imagine. Calling back to an earlier route. But for the two of us, the roof of Nyargh store is perfect. There are empty crates here and there, formerly used to store old supplies and broken containers, and Nyargh draws a few closer to the edge so we can take a seat. And we share the tea and biscuits.
It's so cute.
It's really cute. Are you excited, Nyargh?
Somewhat, but not as much as most people, I imagine.
Probably not. I laugh as I take a sip of my tea, and it's really delicious again.
He's so good.
Around us, people are starting to bustle onto the rooftops, others leaning out their windows to get good looks at the sky. Some whoop and shout with excitement, others popping open expensive bottles of honeyed liquor. All around us, people exude excitement and anticipation. This isn't too much for you, is it? The atmosphere, you know? Him drooling. Nyargh seems to get what I mean after a few moments, and his mouths break into grins. One tentacle reaches forward to brush the hair from my face and pat me on the shoulder.
I'm perfectly fine. Thanks for asking.
Trying not to eat as food is shoved in your face aggressively.
I'm going,
No need to worry about me, especially now that it's begun.
The tentacle on my shoulder shifts up, past my cheek, to point towards the sky.
Oh, we get to watch again.
We do, and we raise our gazes up past the horizon. We see the suns begin to collide.
And as we... There we go again.
Here we go again. The light is almost blinding when the sun's shapes begin to overlap, their glows combining into something truly radiant. The warmth that washes over us seems to magnify twofold, threefold. More than one person below on the streets shouts in delight,
followed by murmurs of amazement. I scoot over on my crate. I love that each one of these eclipse experiences is completely unique.
Oh yeah, honestly, it's really charming.
Thoughtlessly pulling myself closer to Nyargh. Scoot?
Woot.
It's the scoot.
It's this.
And he drapes a tentacle over my shoulder. Even before the moon begins to eat away at the sun's shapes, something deep within us screams that this is a special moment, that something monumental is about to begin, and we do not want to be alone during it. My fingers wrap around the tip of Nyargh's tentacle, squeezing around its warm, fleshy tip. But I know, I'm just like, hee.
Alright.
But we remain silent as the skies begin to darken. The change is immediate. A warm, fleshy tip. And it's not even adult content. As soon as the moon's outline begins carving into the sun's glow, the skies lose their magnificent luster. An odd murmur washes through the crowd on the streets, and even those sitting on rooftops or leaning out of windows try to get a closer look. Falls out a window. The light,
yeah, I know. Yeah. All you want.
The light bouncing off the clouds is
Hey,
also
baby,
distorted.
I want to squeeze my
Fleshy tip. Let's hold fleshy tips together. Throwing crescent-shaped shadows on the ground in spots. I inadvertently grip a little tighter at Nyargh's tentacle, watching as the moon continues. You know what? You're just being now racially insensitive. That's what you are.
Yeah. Oh my god.
I grip his tentacle tighter. Watching as the moon continues its march across the sky, uncaring as to what lies in its path. The suns, meanwhile, have almost completely overlapped with each other, cowering in unison behind the moon. I like that they also took time to write the description of this experience different every single time as well.
Yeah.
Not just, the environment around it, but even Phil's description of it.
Right.
Bit by bit, they vanish. The eyeball again.
The eye.
In the sky. Ooh, it is the eye. The eye. An incredible heaviness bears down upon us as soon as the moon completely masks the suns. A strange pressure, like an invisible hand reaching down from the skies, aiming to crush us. Every sound feels magnified, and I'm startled when a small child shouts from the streets, followed immediately by a parent trying to hush them. Bah! Talking feels taboo. Moving feels taboo. Even looking away feels like it should not be permitted. It feels like the world itself is telling us, this is a moment we must not take for granted. We are in the presence of something monumental. I can feel Nyargh's core shift slightly with every breath, but neither of us say a word. Oh, wow, look at that.
Ooh, new.
That is totally new.
Sorry, I'm also distracted going like,
Oh, that's pretty. Look at that.
That looks cool as hell.
I
dude.
love it. And it's just so stark, like how soft the rest of the colors are, and how sharp the eclipse is.
yellow and green, good combo.
It's very good.
With that black though, that just like
super sharp.
dead black. Boo.
And though I don't dare drag my eyes down from the sky, not while the moon still looms above us, ringed only by the thinnest circles of sunlight, I can see the rest of the
Yeah, I know,
cityscape
right? Wow.
out of the periphery of my vision. Yes, wow. Much wow.
Much wow.
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 Doggy comes in. So moon, such eclipse. Wow. The various shapes and structures around us are lit eerily, thin streaks of light throwing their edges into sharp contrast against their shadowed sides. For one instant, the city feels like a completely foreign place, like a place I should not be. A deep, rasping exhale leaves my lungs, catching me by surprise. I must have been holding my breath. It's difficult even breathing during this eclipse. Pardon. But then, the spell breaks. The eclipse's arresting hold on us dissipates as quickly as it started. The sun's struggle past the moons, and the apostrophe should be after that again. Two moons, shadow, bathing us in a familiar light source. Bit by bit, the skies light up once more. Stray whoops and hollers begin to ring out from all around us, as if people are ecstatic to realize they've survived something deadly.
giant predator in the sky.
Ooh.
I give a long, slow exhale once more, trying to calm my own pounding heart. When I pull my hand away from Nyargh's tentacle, I realize I must have been subconsciously gripping it with all my strength. The tip is flushed, and my fingers have left marks.
Oh!
Oops.
He did not complain. Don't worry about it.
Us. Whoo. The intensity is, sorry I did that to your tip. Nyargh addresses it before I can apologize.
I would have done the same. The eclipse really is something.
We both still are a little quiet as we clean up the remnants of our snacks. Even once the cityscape around us is lit up like usual once more.
Oh
The street
my!
below us.
Yes, eyebrows.
Let's see. The streets below us, busy from the crowds of people steadily dispersing. We both find our thoughts lingering with that eclipse. And Bill, you didn't make any super important decisions today. You need to do something.
I know.
It would have that effect on everyone, I'm sure. Even though I don't truly believe in the superstition that the eclipse is the best day for making big decisions, I'm starting to understand why people might hold that belief. And if someone were to ask me to make a big decision right at this moment, I feel like I might be able to say yes. Nyargh already made a big decision. He shared with you.
Mm-hmm. It's true.
Bill? I'd helped him clean up the store and start heading towards the door when Nyargh stops me. Yes?
I know I've already asked a lot from you today.
A lot of from you today.
A lot of from you. Today. He nervous. He stutter.
It's okay.
Telling you the truth about myself and expecting you to still trust me. Accepting your help in cleaning the store and tending to my work. And watching the eclipse together. But if you'll allow me, I'd like to make one more request of you.
I just love their dedication at drawing him as a character and giving him all these expressions.
It's so nice.
It's so great. If it's something I can help with, I'd be happy to. My answer slips out without a second thought. Nyargh, however, stalls for a moment. He's still shy.
Honeymoon.
Two of his tentacles knead at each other. Him just doing the little finger thing, but
Oh,
equivalent
no.
with tentacles. Like I need those little little pointer fingers, and you just put them together like the That's what Nyargh is
so
doing.
Good.
Let's see. And I'm slow to recognize it's a sign of nervousness, which we haven't seen before. It's a slight edge. It's the slight edge to his voice that makes me realize Nyargh's request this time won't be anything so trivial.
Your acceptance meant a lot to me, as did your companionship. I've come to truly value you during our time knowing each other. So, Vil, would you be my partner?
He's just direct about it.
Aww.
That's so cute. He just is like, would you like to do this? My heart stops in my chest.
Aww.
I'm not sure if I expected this question or not. But seeing Nyargh's reaction, I can't bring myself to hesitate. After all, he'd already spent years keeping a painful secret to himself, and I didn't want to make him wait any longer. And besides, in my heart, I already knew my answer. I will. We are totally like, let's give it a shot, bro.
All right.
Ooh,
Sorry's not highlighted, but I want to make sure. I will.
Of course, Nyargh. I will. We're gonna date this bee husband.
Yes!
We're gonna get it.
Cottagecore Gay Bee Husband Cookman.
Yes, we
Yes,
gotta learn how to
love
make
them.
those salt biscuits.
Yes.
Oh,
You will?
I nod decisively.
Oh,
Oh no, look at that! Ah! Is it poo?
A poo.
Oh no!
Oh.
I
didn't know there was goop at the end of them, but that's
I
okay.
think some of his tentacles are different than others, because some of them seem solid at the end and some seem to have openings. I don't know how all of his anatomy functions, but he got different tentacles.
Got it. Good Cottagecore Bee Husband Cookman. That makes he's
Yes,
so good.
he's so good. That's so cute. And he go, Pep, he touch our face.
He touch.
Mm.
Goop. Yes,
Right.
there's goop.
There is goop. He is actually, like, the drips on him, as far as we understand, are actually goop, and he is careful enough to keep everything clean anyway.
He's very good goop.
The Nyargh, the fact that you trusted me enough to tell me your secret means a lot to me. I've always considered you a good friend, of course. But being with you today, learning more about you...
He be goop. He be my goop.
He be my goop.
He be my goop husband.
He's a goop.
He's a goop boy.
He's a goop man.
He's a goop boy. Who's such a goop boy?
Oh, you goop boy.
Made me realize how comfortable I feel around you. You're amazing, I think. Not many people can be as kind and considerate as you, especially when they're harboring such a difficult secret.
Oh.
So, if I can be by your side more, and learn about you more, and be closer to you, I want to do it. I want to be your partner.
Wow.
Nyargh seems stunned at first.
Oh, no! A pet!
Hi, the pet and the cuddle. Then his tentacles reach forward in a flurry of movement.
I
Shoop!
text.
This is a massive, enthusiastic hug.
Oh,
Oh, look at that.
Oh,
I
they-
love our big chunky hands.
it's so good.
They're so much fun. He's like, a shoop.
I swoop.
I swoop.
I swoop.
That's very cute.
It's very cute.
In a flurry of movement, they wind about me, encasing me in a gentle but firm warmth as he pulls me closer, much closer.
Thank you, Vil.
Thank you.
Good husband.
Yeah.
Good. You
Don't
understand how happy you've made me. From this proximity, his voice sounds so much deeper. Every time he exhales, his breath glasses warm against my skin, and I wrap my arms around his tentacles and embrace him.
Haha.
I'm really glad we're both happy. Even when I pull back, one of his tendrils lingers against me, as if wanting to maintain the contact. And upon close inspection, I can tell it's the one I'd been gripping during the eclipse. It still has a few dark marks, right where my fingers squeezed at it. I guess I got a little ahead of myself, wanting to hold you.
Oh.
Nyargh chuckles, brushing the tentacle up against my cheek.
Wow.
Just a little bit.
Oh, that's really cute.
But that's not a bad thing.
Wow.
Nyargh has always been comfortable to be around. His presence has always been soothing. I've always been aware of it since I started delivering to his store. But here and now, it feels completely different. We share a secret, and we shared a very special moment together, beneath that darkened sky lit only by the ring of the eclipse.
Okay, I have to say, so instead of metal husband, it is goop husband.
Yes!
That's what I was thinking of.
Mm-hmm. Even if neither of one of us truly believes in the auspicious powers of the eclipse, we can't help feeling like something special brought us together. It's all the more reason we want to be close to each other, to get to know each other more, to be with each other. See, you don't have to be completely in love to start dating.
Oh.
Oh dear.
Oh dear.
Oh my.
Oh.
Oh, wow.
Oh.
I am fascinated. That's amazing. Hi. Well, everyone, welcome to Cuddling a Tentacle Husband.
I a goopy husband.
We're gonna have to learn some more things about him, in fact.
Ooh.
Nyargh's body is warm. Much warmer than I'd anticipated. Apparently.
Yes.
Yes. Alright, that's okay. I got ahead of you. I myself, touching you. Him, that's fine. We can do the touch. Yay! I'd noticed before that his tentacles are warm, of course. The flesh is sensitive in spots, throbbing beneath the touch of my fingers. Some are thicker than others. Some are very sensitive. And some are frail, while others are strong enough to easily lift me off my feet. But all of them are perfectly gentle as they glide across my body, never letting me forget their presence. Even when one coils around my waist, lifting me up effortlessly, the tentacle's flesh is soft and careful.
We're gonna have to end in a couple of minutes.
We are. We have just a couple of minutes left. We're like,
This is amazing. And to start up the next one in the middle
here,
of this,
that'll be a thing.
this'll be an experience.
Nyargh treats me like something precious he would never want to break, even as he surrounds me. Not an inch of my body goes untouched. It feels like him, blah, 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 blah. Though the tentacles vary in size and function, all of them are dexterous, and they never stop roaming my body in search of unexplored places. The inside of my thigh, the inside of my rib cage,
the deep furrows between the spines on my back. I love that, him just threading his tentacles between the spines.
Oh,
And just loo.
Oh my.
The spot at the bottom of my abdomen, the nape of my neck, the curve of my collarbones. They touch me in spots I'm not used to being touched, insistently, making their presence known. It's almost unfair how Nyargh is able to do so much to me, while I have a harder time doing the same. I feel inadequately limbed all of a sudden. He laughs when I tell him as much. The communication is real. It's okay. I feel like a flailing starfish.
I'm just sort of hovering in the air.
The tendril looped around my waist pulls me closer, until the very core of his body hangs above my back. From this proximity, I can almost feel each breath and throb of his body. I can hear the slick of saliva each time he licks his lips, the rush of blood through the fine veins of his tentacles. I can see the way his body continues to flesh darker. He changes color. He really blushes. Even as he says he doesn't mean to tease me, he continues to explore. A tentacle reaches up to touch against my temple, then very gently drags downward, brushing against my cheek. In some small act of revenge, I take it in my hands to wrestle some of the control away from him. There we go. You touch me, I touch you.
I do touch.
Hi. The tentacle squirms briefly in my grip, seemingly in protest, and I squeeze it gently with my fingertips. The flesh is warm and pliable, the muscle underneath undulating each time Nyargh breathes, and it twitches sharply when I press my lip to the tip. It's just a small kiss, brief and light. But Nyargh seems to want more. The tentacle stretches back towards my mouth when I pull away. How could I not oblige? Oh, I mean, it's not the same thing, but nonetheless.
I wonder what the adult version is.
Oh, God. It's just, a sensory arm.
Yeah.
I kiss it again, then once more. Each time, the tentacles around my body tense and throb. And Nyargh patiently endures the little kisses, but only for so long. Eventually, he gives an impatient wriggle against my palms. Another tentacle swoops in, gently winding around my arms, over my wrist, and through the gaps in my fingers, as if grasping my hand.
Oh.
When I obligingly let go, both tendrils wind around me in a warm embrace, tugging me even closer. He threads a tentacle through your fingers like threading your hands together.
Yeah, that's so cute.
Fair enough. After so much time spent keeping his distance and keeping his secret, he's earned the right to be as close as he likes, I think. And I'm into it.
Uh-huh.
Oh, Nyargh continues to explore, and I gladly welcome it, moving to allow him more and more access to myself. The soft flesh at the inside of my lips, the sensitive dip below my sternum, and the deepest, most intimate parts of my body. We get to experience them together.
They were like,
whoa. And you
it just skip.
Hi.
It just jump.
Stepping onto the streets the day after the eclipse is a surreal feeling. I do the walking. It's fine. Overnight, it seems, the city has reverted back to its usual self. People tromp about at leisurely paces, pause to greet each other and ask how they are. The atmosphere is pleasant but tranquil. Honestly, I have to say that the other love scene went on way longer. That was extremely short comparatively, and I think they were worried about keeping it PG-13, given Nyargh's composition and our social context.
Yeah.
Only traces of the eclipse remain. Stores that don't open their doors again because the owners left for their own ventures. The remains of celebratory banners strung over some doorways and abandoned honey liqueur containers here and there. It's impossible for anyone to forget the eclipse actually happened. Anyone who witnessed the way the skies went dark would surely remember it for a long time to come. But we all have to move on. Of course, I resume my usual route the following day. My boss and I only have a few moments to talk about how our eclipses went. His went wonderfully, he says, and mine as well, I say. It's a simple answer, but that's all I really need to say. My route stays largely the same, regardless of the eclipse. Only the amount of salt varies slightly, and that's trivial, I think.
That's supposed to be.
It's a trivial amount, or that's trivial. And there is one significant difference. Do we come home differently?
Uh-huh.
When I end my route, I find my feet moving faster.
Near the
My pace quickening.
My claws kick off the dirt quickly, enough to leave small dust clouds in my wake, and I need to brace myself hard to avoid skidding around a corner as I head down a familiar stretch of street. Even from blocks away, a familiar scent greets me, as if welcoming me home. Nyargh store. It becomes the highlight of my every day. Getting to throw the door open and greet Nyargh regardless of if he's requested delivery that day or not. And he always greets me with open tentacles, embracing me and holding me close.
Aww.
Like something he never wants to let go. Ah, that's so cute!
Oh my god, we are so out of time.
We are
Holy
completely
crow.
out of time.
All right, so thank you very much, everybody, for joining us. We really appreciate having you with us. And since we've got to end off here really quickly, we appreciate y'all spending time with us. If you like what we do, please feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and also share our videos if you're having a good time with us. Please also feel free to go check out our Ko-Fi or our Patreon. We've got some links in the description down below. And I have been Scandal.
And I have been Lies.
And it was great playing with you.
Bye!